parts you thought you'd never be able to find. And it's also because we're cheaper than the other guys, too. So why shop anywhere else? This is Dave Dorrell from Kendor Marine. Boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
Bucks forward Chris Middleton declines the $40.3 million option on his contract. Middleton could return to the Bucks on a multi-year deal for a lesser average annual value. NBA draft night tonight, the Bucks own just one selection, number 58 overall, the final pick in the two-round event. Former St. John's Northwest Academy standout Brandon Podziemski invited to the green room. He's projected to be a first-round pick. And no game for the Brewers. A 10-game road trip begins tomorrow night in Cleveland against the Guardians. Milwaukee 1.5 games back of the Reds for first place in the NL Central. Greg Matzik, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic, and it looks like we've got a couple of slowdowns right now. 94 eastbound's been consistently slow for the last hour or so. That'll be a 13-minute ride from the Zoo to downtown. Getting a little bit worse. That is a 7-minute delay. We're also seeing some slowdowns cropping up on 43 southbound from Brown Deer Road into downtown. Now a 5-minute delay. It'll take you 16 minutes. No accidents reported, though. Actually, there is an incident actually reported just a couple minutes ago on 43 southbound at the ramp for Brown Deer Road West. That is off on the left shoulder. That may be causing some of those delays.
Traffic is sponsored by Harwood Place Senior Living. Learn more about Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing options. Visit harwoodplace.org or call to schedule a tour.
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast, and as Jeff will tell you in just a minute, it is sunny and warm today. Great day to start off Summerfest, a high of 83 at the lake, 87 degrees inland. Tonight will be partly cloudy skies, a low of 62 at the lake, 58 inland. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies continue, a high of 83. Saturday, we'll see some increasing clouds. It'll still be warm, but slightly humid, a high of 85 at the lake, 90 degrees inland. And Sunday, that chance of showers and storms will stick around. It'll be cloudy, a warm and humid, a high of 82. Monday, chance of showers, mostly cloudy, and a high of 75. Right now, in Madison, it's 84. In Green Bay, it's 83. In Waukesha, it's 81. And in Milwaukee, it is 73 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore Pooley, Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News time is 12:07.
From the Pella Windows and Doors mobile studio at the Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone, it's the Jeff Wagner Show, live from Summerfest. Now, here's Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome. So very glad to have you with us. And by the way, as the big voice guy said, we are broadcasting live. It is opening day, Summerfest 2023. It is a Chamber of Commerce day. The weather could not be better. The gates have just opened. Come on down and enjoy yourself. And in what has become a tradition for us on opening day that probably ends this year because, well, this is his last official Summerfest, the CEO, Don Smiley. Don, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good afternoon, Jeff. It's 12:08. We've been open for 8 minutes, and it's great to be with you.
The weather, I mean, we talk about this a lot. No matter how great a festival you put together, it's all around here. It's always weather dependent, and it looks like this is going to be a tremendous year.
Well, whether it's Summerfest or the State Fair or anyone that operates outside, I mean, Mother Nature certainly has a lot to do with the success or failure of an event, whether it's an ethnic festival or whatever. But today and the rest of the weekend looks to be glorious. And we're really looking forward to it this year. And coming out of the pandemic, we think this year will be a really good test to see where we're at. And we have a wonderful lineup put together this year. So it should be a great weekend.
Don, I always make a point when the first day of Summerfest to come down a little bit early and just walk around the grounds. And as somebody who has been coming to Summerfest since the early 70s and remembers what it looked like back in the beginning, I look at all the permanent structures. I look at everything that's been done, including a lot of the stuff that's been done under the last 20 years under your tenure. It's really something to be proud of.
We were talking the other day in our staff meeting, and I was addressing the staff, and I said, I just don't know where 20 years went. And I think it went by so fast because we were always building something. We always had a shovel in the ground. We're always trying to improve the grounds for our fans and for the artists and our sponsors. And I think that time just went that fast because we were always busy. We were always doing something. It wasn't like, hey, just run a music festival and then hang it up for the winter and we'll see you next summer. We always had something going, and I think that's really why it flew by.
Well, also, and one of the elements of that is there was an element of fundraising. It's not just like all of a sudden you've got taxpayer checks that you can draw on. If you want to build a pavilion, if you want to rebuild the amphitheater, you got to go out and get the sponsors and figure out how we're going to pay for that.
For sure, and you know that because you've been around for years and you've watched us operate here. There really are no public funds that go into this park when it comes to capital projects or anything else. So we go out and raise that money and talk to sponsors, and sponsors have been incredibly loyal, incredibly generous with us over the years, and they trust us and they trust this event. So it's really a two-pronged situation. Whereas you need to go out, raise the money, and close that deal, and then get a shovel in the ground and actually build whatever you presented and open it up for the next Summerfest. So, yeah, I mean, it takes time, and it's the ball's always moving. So we're happy to try to keep up with that.
Well, and this isn't a eulogy, but as you look back over the last 20 years, what are some of the things that you are proudest of as you look and think, okay, it's been 20 years, I never thought I'd be able to get this done, or I'm really glad we could get that done?
I'm glad to hear it's not a eulogy. Yeah. That's upside. I just think with the transformation of the entire grounds, from small stages like the Johnsonville stage, Somerville, and all of...
Did you know just one blood donation can save up to 3 people's lives? Hi, WTMJ Sandy Max here. Please join me and our WTMJ Cares initiative to donate blood to those who need it the most. Join us on June 26th, 27th, and 28th as we partner with the American Red Cross and Gruber Law Offices for a blood drive at the Milwaukee County Zoo. Visit WTMJ.com or text BLOOD to 855-616-1620. You can make a difference with WTMJ Cares and me, Sandy Max.
They're gonna run back to me. They always wanna come.
This is Jeff Wagner broadcasting live for Summerfest. Our technicians back at the studio thought that we'd lost power, but we haven't. We're here. Don Smiley, CEO of Summerfest. Don, we were talking about, again, some of the accomplishments that, as you look back over the last 20 years, you're proudest of.
Yeah, I just really think the redevelopment of the park, a ever-growing sponsorship roster that we have. For a music festival this size, we really do a big number in sponsorships, and we're proud of that. That means people have confidence in us. That means we deliver the product that they're looking for, and their branding comes out on top. So that, along with just really being a big contributor to the community. This year we hired 1,850 young people, all 16 to 40 years old, and we're proud of that. We contribute to the community in that regard. We'll get involved with 70 plus community partners this year because of Summerfest. So there's so many things that this festival touches that we're all proud of, and to look back over 20 years, I'm sure that it's some kind of list somewhere, but it's just generally very gratifying.
Don, one of the interesting things is whenever Summerfest rolls out its lineup, there's always people who say, okay, well, I wish they had this band, or there should have been more of that type of performers, or this type of performers, or whatever. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges of programming a music festival over 3 weekends in the summer?
Well, it's a lot more challenging than, for instance, activating and producing a country festival. I mean, you know exactly what you're booking at that point in time, and you're booking country fans. So there is no conversation or scrutiny about bands. Well, we go exactly the opposite way. We want to have something for everyone, and we do have something for everyone. When people scrutinize the lineup, I look at that as a positive. I look at that as passion. Because right. If they didn't scrutinize it, if they didn't have anything to say about it, that means they probably don't care. And I would prefer that they care and speak up than not care and stay away. So, I liken it to, in a past life in Major League Baseball, in a call-in show, if someone wasn't wasn't voicing their displeasure about who's leading off and playing second, that's not a good position for the club to be in, because that means that fans generally aren't interested. So that's the way we look at that. We try to please everyone in life. You can't please everyone, but when you look through our lineup, there is something for everyone. All you have to do is a little homework.
Right. And there are limitations too, because you are dependent on what bands are touring at a particular time and who's in the Midwest. And who can you can fit into a schedule on a certain opening? So it's got to be like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle that you put together.
for sure. And when we went to the 3-weekend model, that allowed us to book another weekend. So that expanded our booking opportunity. But you're right. I mean, it's not like Fiserv Forum or any other traditional concert venue where they can just look at their calendar and choose a date. If the artist is generally in the area, we have to book an artist over 3 weekends, and it really helps if they're in the area and not coming from L.A. or California or Europe. So it becomes a little dicier for us because the festival dates are the festival dates. It's not like having a freestanding venue.
You mentioned the 3 days over 3 weekends. You've been involved in some decisions, arguably some people viewed as controversial. Early on in your tenure, the decision was made to drop the Monday and to add a Wednesday.
Right.
I think that turned out to be absolutely outstanding. Now, of course, the question is, do you continue with 3 days, 3 weekends, or do you go back to more of the traditional model? What's your thinking about how things are working out?
Well, we took it very seriously. We talked to our fans both virtually and in person, and just over 60% voted for 3 weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We know people go out on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We know that there's disposable income on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, etc. I get a little bit of a kick out of people when they walk up to me and they say, I used to love to go on Tuesdays. There was no one there. Well, that's exactly the point, because we still have fixed expenses on those days that don't do as well business-wise. So the first year was 2021, coming out of the pandemic, when we operated in September. That was the first year.
Not a good indicator.
For the 3-weekend model. We didn't think that was a good test, because we were up against the Badgers, the Packers. School teachers had gone back to school. Kids had gone back to school, and we couldn't get anyone's attention. And coming out of the pandemic. So 22 was a little bit better, but not that much. I think 23 will be a fair test. I think we'll be able to really look at the data afterwards and say, this is what we have with 3 weekends. And so we'll take a look this year. There's always flexibility in this organization. Just because we made a decision one time doesn't mean that it's going to last for 10 or 15 years. I think you really have to go with the flow a little bit. There's a reason that restaurants close on Mondays. Yeah. There's a reason that theaters aren't open on Tuesdays. So, it's really no different here. We're trying to fish when the fish are biting.
I like that analogy. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Summerfest CEO Don Smiley in just a minute.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Did you know just one blood donation can save up to 3 people's lives? Hi, WTMJ Sandy Max here. Please join me and our WTMJ Cares initiative to donate blood to those who need it the most. Join us on June 26th, 27th, and 28th as we partner with the American Red Cross and Gruber Law Offices for a blood drive at the Milwaukee County Zoo. Visit WTMJ.com or text BLOOD to 855-616-1620. You can make a difference with WTMJ Cares and me, Sandy Max.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. I always thought Vince Lombardi came up with that famous sports nugget, but it turns out he borrowed it from a college coach. And now I'm going to borrow it too. Because when there are 10 or 20 offers on a property, there's only one winner. In today's inventory-starved real estate market, you need a Lombardi-level mortgage coach. One who has all the best plays in the playbook. Going with your bank for your pre-approval is like playing in a professional playoff game with the JV coach at the helm. The Lombardi-level coaches at AccuNet are called senior loan consultants, and each one has been trained by me to help you and your real estate agent work as one team to deliver the one and only thing that matters, winning.
So if you've been losing with your flimsy bank pre-approval, trade up today to a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and a Lombardi-level game plan. And if you're just getting started, why not start with the best? Click on the blue button today and get started with your winning game plan at accunet.com.
We're here to tell you about Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. If you are looking for affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses, you've got to do what a couple of my family members did recently. They went to Built Right. When you get to the store, you're going to find a 45,000 square foot showroom with thousands of furniture items in stock, plus 500 mattresses. This includes a huge selection of USA and Amish-made furniture, plus better quality imported furniture for any size home. Also, check out Built Right's over 48 models of in-stock power lift recliners. Special and custom orders are much faster in 2023. Free in-store design services available too. And now's a great time to get to Built Right, as their USA-made sale store-wide is on now. Built Right voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association's 2023 National Retailer of the Year Award. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 till 6. Sunday they're closed to be with family. When you get there, tell them Jeff Wagner from WTMJ sent you to locally and family-owned Built Right, 5430 West Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Back for more. Here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
We are broadcasting live from the opening day of Summerfest 2023, and it is my great pleasure to be joined by Summerfest CEO Don Smiley. Don, whenever I talk about Summerfest, some of the input that I get from some of our fans and listeners is, well, we'd like to come down there, but there's problems in Milwaukee with regard to, crime and safety and things like that. How do you deal with that overall?
We do what we can do to really secure the grounds and the perimeter of the grounds. We've hired a very accomplished former Milwaukee Police Department sergeant captain, to head up our entire security force, who has deep contacts within the City of Milwaukee Police Department, the FBI, Homeland Security, etc. So we do what we can do here without getting into our exact safety protocols, to really lock it down and do the best we can to provide a really safe atmosphere for our fans, not the least of which is walking through metal detectors when you come in here, just like you would at any other venue, whether you're going to see a basketball game or baseball game or whatever.
Well, and I have to tell you, and it's the same thing I say to people. As somebody who's down here on a regular basis almost every day, I don't feel unsafe. I think you do a good job. There's a huge security presence that's out there. I mean, I think you really do a good job, and you don't hear of an enormous number of incidents are arising. Now, anytime you're going to have a huge crowd and you're going to have people drinking beer or something, there might be something that happens. But as a general rule, it's not a problem down here.
Thank you. No, it's not. I mean, generally speaking, it's between a Packer fan and a Viking fan. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it's something that we take very, very seriously, and we work with all of the entities that I just mentioned. We don't leave any stone unturned when it comes to safety and security. We have a good, deep working relationship with MPD and Chief Norman. And, I just can't say enough about it. Milwaukee County Sheriffs are involved, and other law enforcement agencies that help provide this to be a safe venue. So, what goes on in our city goes on in our city and goes on in other cities, and really, other people really have to get a handle on that and do what they can. As far as this particular event goes, we really take it seriously and do everything we can.
Okay, we're talking about 20 years of Don Smiley at Summerfest. What does the future look like for you? What are you going to be doing when you're not spending all your time running Summerfest?
I have a couple of things going right now, and I started an LLC called SES LLC, which stands for Sports, Entertainment, and Sponsorship LLC. I've got a couple of clients, and I may do a little side work for Summerfest on a part-time basis. and hand the reins over to Sarah Pancari, who's absolutely ready for the reins, and she's done a great job being promoted from Chief Operating Officer to President to the next stop will be President CEO. It'll be her show to run next year, and we're all very excited about that. I know one thing. I'm not really going to retire. I mean, I hear that word a lot.
Right.
I think it's more of an evolution than a retirement.
You're planning on staying in the area?
I am. And I have a place in South Florida, so I'll go back and forth.
I know it must be tough to get Summerfest out of your system, because I saw Bob Babish walking around here a little bit earlier today, too.
Yeah, he's always going to be. We'll take our walk later on and look at everything and make sure everything is in its right spot. We'll have a cold beer later on.
Do you have one or two particular Summerfest memories, good, bad, indifferent, hopefully good, as you think back over the last 20 years?
When I first got here in 2004, Bob was all excited because we were going to make Prince a member of our Wall of Fame. And we had a plaque made up, and in this whole big production, we were going to go up to the dressing room and see him. And, you know, I had just, you know, it was just coming out of Major League Baseball, and we had won the World Series in 1997. Which was a few years earlier. However, I mean, that was really the last image that I had of really superstardom with someone. So I said, oh, that'll be interesting with Prince. And so we waited, and we waited, and we waited. And it was like 2.5 hours, if you remember, anyone who was at that show started about 2.5 hours late. And I said, Bob, is this how this works?
Yeah.
I said, you know, are we expected to be cooling our jets here for a couple hours on all the stuff that we're doing? And so we finally got up to see Prince, and he was very gracious, put on a heck of a show that night, and that comes to mind. The Rolling Stones arriving here when they played in 2014, I think it was. That was a sight to behold because the four stars all had their own escorted SUVs coming in, and it was.
They're not riding together.
No, they're all individual. So, yeah, and there's so many backstories, with things that happen behind the curtain that no one ever gets to see or hear about, as they're just really hysterical. They'll go in the book.
Now, are you your day when Summerfest is operating? You're here early. Do you generally stay until the last person's out?
No, I don't stay until the last person's out. I'll take off a little bit earlier and try to beat the traffic.
Right.
And that's what I would suggest to our fans is come early and leave a little bit early if you want to beat the traffic. But then I'm back here the next morning very early and doing it all over again. So, yeah, I mean, love to get around and see all the sponsors, love to get around and see all the bands and all the friends made here over the last 20 years.
Okay, well, that's great. You leave our audience with a great tip. Come early and then maybe leave just a little bit early to beat the traffic.
Right. Don't stay for that last song. It always costs you a little bit of time.
Don, I remember the first year you came. I remember the first couple times we had a chance to talk. It has been a pleasure and an honor to talk with you over the years, not just on the air, but off the air sometimes when there were issues relating to Summerfest. You could not have been more open and accessible and honest, and I appreciate all that, and I want to wish you the best moving forward in whatever the next phase is, not retirement, but whatever else that might be, and I'm sure we're going to continue, hopefully, to be great friends moving forward.
Thanks so much, Jeff. It's really been my pleasure, my honor to be here and serve Milwaukee World Festival, Inc., to talk with you on and off the microphone. It's just been a real pleasure, and you're one of the guys that really gets it. You look at it from all angles, and you then put it to your listeners and hear what they have to say, which we appreciate. We learn a lot from that. So thank you for everything that you've done in the market.
Don Smiley, Summerfest CEO. Come on down. We're broadcasting live from Summerfest. Today is the first day of Summerfest 2023. You will not be sorry. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me every Saturday at noon for Experience Wisconsin, where we check in with communities across the state for the best and brightest spots around our great state. This week, some great guests. We're joined by Kenosha's Meredith Jamisco and Maggie Marconi from the Wisconsin Historical Society.
And the sites are located all across the state, so you don't have to drive very far to have an opportunity to visit one of our sites.
Plus, always a chat with Ann Sayers, the travel secretary. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturday at noon, right here on 620 WTMJ.
CPAP is one option that can be used to keep the throat open at night. It can work. There are other ways of keeping that airway open other than the machine. Another option that most people have never heard of is an oral appliance. An oral appliance is like a retainer that you wear when you're sleeping at night. It's super slim, slides in your mouth, and what it does is it helps to keep your airway open. That's exactly what a CPAP machine does. Most people who are good candidates for a CPAP machine to treat their sleep apnea are also good candidates for an oral appliance. Most of those people never get offered an oral appliance. Advent has decided to change the practice of medicine in this country by offering oral appliances to our patients. And what that means is we are allowing our patients to have the choice of a CPAP machine or oral appliance when they have sleep apnea, and that's a big deal.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Lake Geneva. It's where families have been making memories around the water for generations. Lakeside resorts and spas, award-winning restaurants, and charming shops are just the beginning of an unforgettable summer getaway. Lake cruises, boating, and beach lounging let you soak up the sun, water, and family time. Hike a lakeshore path, stargaze from an iconic observatory, or soar above it all in a hot air balloon. Go ziplining, visit an animal safari, or see dancing horses. Start making your memories today at visitlakegeneva.com.
Welcome to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. May I take your order?
Yeah, I'd like 9 windows, please. I'm hoping they'll match my home.
Have it your way.
Excuse me? We're talking about windows, right?
Yes. Pella's design options are virtually limitless, even more customized than your coffee.
So you're like my personal barista for windows and doors.
Exactly. And if you customize your order by August 31st, you can bundle and save big.
Good deal.
Get started today at PellaWI.com.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Back. And by the way, I've been remiss because I will tell you, the technology is just absolutely amazing. For the first time this year, in addition to broadcasting live from our mobile broadcast facility down here at Summerfest, we are also live streaming all the broadcasts. So you can either go to our YouTube channel. Who knew WTMJ had a YouTube channel? But we do. Or simply go to WTMJ.com, click the Watch Live button, which is right next to the Listen Live button, and we've got the cameras, and you can watch all the different interviews and watch us do our shows and see us wave to the fans and all those type of things. All right, WTMJ breaking news time is 12:32 p.m. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, here's Wyatt Barmore-Pooley.
Thanks, Jeff. The Coast Guard says an unmanned rover has found a debris field near the Titanic wreck site. That could be the remains of the Titan submersible that has been missing for days with 5 people on board. This discovery coming as the timeline for the 5 people to have enough oxygen on board came and went earlier today, and even if they had been found alive, there was no feasible way to lift the Titan from the bottom with the available resources on scene. The debris field, if it is the Titan, which has not been confirmed by the Coast Guard, it would indicate that there was a rapid implosion from the pressure of the Atlantic Ocean, and the 5 have likely been dead since Sunday. There is going to be a press conference that will be held by the Coast Guard this afternoon at 2 p.m. And a massive overhaul in the state's alcohol industry in the works. The state assembly has passed a measure that would govern beer, wine, and spirit sales across the state. One big change would be for private wedding venues like wedding barns. And this new plan would change the rules requiring them to have a liquor license or limit the time that they rent out the property to just 6 times per year. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. And it looks like the S&P is, which has been fluctuating all day, is holding basically even. It is not up. It is not down. It says it's in the green. It is technically up 0.21 points. The NASDAQ firmly in the green. It is up 59%. It's a little under 0.5%. And the Dow has been down, and that remains down about 0.25%. It is down 73 points. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. And we've got an incident reported on 43 southbound at the ramp from Brown Deer Road It is blocking the left shoulder. That reported about a half an hour ago. We are seeing some delays on 43 southbound from Brown Deer Road into downtown. That'll take you 16 minutes. That is a 5-minute delay. And we're still seeing delays on 94 eastbound, pretty much the same spot between the Zoo interchange and the Stadium interchange. The delays are not getting better. It is a 14-minute ride, a 8-minute delay to get you from the Zoo into downtown.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring an experienced bar manager with income upwards of $60,000 a year and always busy. Inquire today, start next week.
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny skies for the people streaming through the Summerfest gates today. It'll be a high of 83 at the lake, 87 degrees inland. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 62. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies continue, a high of 83. Saturday, increasing clouds, still warm, slightly humid, a high of 85 at the lake, up to 90 inland. Sunday, we'll add a chance of showers and storms. It'll be cloudy, warm, and humid, a high of 82. And Monday, chance of showers, mostly cloudy, a high of 75. Right now in downtown Milwaukee, it is 75 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, Sighting Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 12:35.
I'm Jeff Wagner. When we come back, a very difficult question. I want to ask you about what's been going on with this submersible. Stick around.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. A couple years ago, my knee was acting up. As an athlete, I've played through pain before, but it was getting to the point where I couldn't compete in the sports I loved. I decided to check out Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's the best decision I've made. I felt no pressure to have surgery. That was important to me. We had choices. I ultimately did choose to have a procedure. I was in and out in just hours and back in action shortly after. I recommend meeting their doctors. Visit orthowisconsin.com today.
Sometimes saying, I've got a guy, isn't convenient when you need a lot of different people for different needs. A roof guy, paint guy, interior remodel guy, J&J Contractors do it all. With top-of-the-line quality craftsmanship that's all custom or semi-custom.
In addition to full interior remodels, J&J Contractors' skilled and certified team members use high-quality materials for all of your exterior needs. Roofing, siding, windows, and gutters. Contact them today to schedule a consultation. Just Google J&J Contractors.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 5 to 8 ounce package selected varieties, Sargento Deli style sliced cheese, 2 for $6. 2-liter bottle selected varieties, Super Chill soft drinks, 99 cents. 24 to 70 count package selected varieties, Chinette classic white plates or bowls, $6.99. 10 to 10.8 ounce package selected varieties, Bird's Eye vegetables, 4 for $5.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take them out at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods.
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience from Century Foods. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 26th.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Get up, stand up for your right.
Welcome back. We are broadcasting live from Opening Day Summerfest 2023. Eric Church, he's the special guest with special guest Ellie King performing tonight at the American Family Amphitheater. Lots of other great acts as well. And like I say, Chamber of Commerce Day as far as the weather goes. All right. You heard during Wyatt's newscast. The update is that they've apparently detected what they're calling a debris field in the area around the Titanic wreck. And nobody knows for sure. But one of the working theories now is that perhaps that submersible that went down, it might have imploded under the pressure of the water, in which case everybody on there would have been killed instantly, and unfortunately would have died, but they would have been dead as of Sunday. And candidly, I mean, I guess you can decide how you want to go, but if the idea of just slowly drowning in a tube, watching yourself, that far below water, losing all your air. I can't imagine a worse way to go. But it's just a tragedy. And now, even if that debris field doesn't turn out to be the submersible, the air has expired, and it's now we're going to be looking at a recovery effort. Let me share with you a piece that appears in today's Wall Street Journal, just at least part of it, and then I want to ask a question based on this. The headline says, for past passengers, dangers were well understood. Past travelers who climbed into the minivan-sized tube that is the Titan deep-sea submersible knew they might die. Risk of death is mentioned at least 3 times on a waiver they signed before boarding. As they dived deep into the ocean, untethered to the surface, sunlight faded away. In pitch-black waters, luminescent creatures became visible through a small porthole. The bone-chilling cold bloomed on the Titan's curved walls. And then it goes on to talk about this. He said, one of the guys who went on this trip in 2021 said it was sobering to be inside the Titan, whose hatch was bolted shut from the outside. Guy says this is pretty extreme. If something goes wrong, there's no real out. Past travelers on deep-sea submersible excursions like the one that triggered this international rescue mission say the risks posed by the voyages were clear, but that the thrill of reaching such ocean depths made the trips alluring. They call the experience uncomfortable and unnerving, but also unique and exhilarating. Tourists pay $250,000 and are trained for the dive, which typically lasts several hours. All right, so then it goes on and it talks about how, for example, when you're in this little tube, if you want to make it the nose go up, everybody has to run to the back of the tube or crawl to the back of the tube and put the weight in the back. And if you want to make it go down, everybody runs to the front of the tube. And of course, you're 2.5 miles below, below the surface. So it's very, very clear that there is a high element of danger that is involved in this thing. Okay, so where are we going with this? This rescue mission, they don't know exactly how much it's cost so far, but it is likely in the millions of dollars. Millions and millions of dollars are going to be spent because, again, trying to find this, bringing all the Coast Guard ships together, and it's always been kind of a long shot, but you hope against hope for that. But the rescue mission is likely to cost millions of dollars, and that is going to be borne by the taxpayers. Now, I understand that there's all sorts of that's what the Coast Guard does. And the Coast Guard's mission is to go out and to save people. And the Coast Guard does an absolutely outstanding job of that. The Coast Guard does not charge people for search and rescue. So, I mean, that's one of the things that ends up happening. But I guess what I want to discuss with you is, do we need to come up with a better way? This is, for example, this isn't a boat out on Lake Michigan that gets lost in the fog and can't find its way back. I mean, this is an incredibly risky private venture that charges $250,000 a person to go down and to go on this. And like I say, very, very risky. There's all sorts of waivers that people sign, and as it turns out, there's probably all sorts of issues with the safety of this. But when something like this happens, and if something like this happens again, my question is it fair to make the taxpayers pay for this, or as a condition of going through this very, very, expensive and very, very risky sort of, okay, we're going to take this adventure tourism, and this is about extreme venture tourism, as you can imagine. All right, if something goes wrong, is it fair to expect the taxpayers to shell out millions and millions of dollars to try to, again, find and save people? Or would it be reasonable to say, moving forward, look, there's got to be bonds put up, there's got to be insurance put up, there's got to be money put up, that it would at least help underwrite the cost of going out and trying to, again, find people. Is it reasonable for taxpayers to pick up the cost? 855-616-1620. That's the old National Bank talk and text line. We discuss in a moment.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Hey, it's 620 WTMJ's Brian Z for Oconomowoc Dental Care and my guy, Dr. James Michaels. You know, summer is finally here. It's time to get ready for that warm weather. Graduations, weddings, all the travel plans that come with summer, plus your upcoming family events and all those photos and videos you're going to be taking. Make sure you have that best smile on display. Schedule your routine cleaning with my guy, Dr. Michaels. At Oconomowoc Dental Care, they're always going to make you as comfortable as possible when you're in the chair and give both you and your family an amazing smile. So whether it's a simple cleaning and exam, a more complex procedure, a teeth whitening, an implant, Dr. Michaels and the team at Oconomowoc Dental Care will take great care of you just like they take great care of me. At Oconomowoc Dental Care, affordable quality dentistry is no longer a dream, it's the reality. Dr. Michaels' fantastic staff can help you out with a no-interest payment plan. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Go see my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care. Call his friendly and caring staff today and make your appointment.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. I always thought Vince Lombardi came up with that famous sports nugget, but it turns out he borrowed it from a college coach. And now I'm going to borrow it too. Because when there are 10 or 20 offers on a property, there's only one winner. In today's inventory-starved real estate market, you need a Lombardi-level mortgage coach. One who has all the best plays in the playbook. Going with your bank for your pre-approval is like playing in a professional playoff game with the JV coach at the helm. The Lombardi-level coaches at AccuNet are called senior loan consultants, and each one has been trained by me to help you and your real estate agent work as one team to deliver the one and only thing that matters, winning. So if you've been losing with your flimsy bank pre-approval, trade up today to a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and a Lombardi-level game plan. And if you're just getting started, why not start with the best? Click on the blue button today and get started with your winning game plan at accunet.com.
Semper Roofing and Exteriors. CertainTeed Diamond Level Select Shingle Masters. The best of the best. And that's why you can feel confident in choosing us to install your new roof.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi. Kessler's is famous
nationwide for diamond engagement rings.
But what most people don't know
is that Kessler's is equally amazing at wedding bands.
Engagement rings come in thousands of styles.
But not all engagement rings come with a matching wedding band.
No problem.
No problem. No problem.
You heard the part about equally amazing wedding bands, right?
That's real. We are amazing at wedding bands. We have a wedding band that is going to look fantastic. Fantabulous. Incomprehensibly good. With your engagement ring.
It's going to look really good.
Ricky.
I prefer Rick.
You need to work with us. Yeah, Ricky. Work with us.
Seriously, you're going to be extremely happy with what you find at Kessler's. Our sales associates are good at helping you find the perfect wedding band.
Much better, Ricky.
I prefer Rick.
Yeah, Ricky. Much better. Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Welcome back. Broadcasting live from Summerfest 2023. Look, this is a really difficult question, and I appreciate it, and I don't mean to be insensitive. But but here's the deal. You have 5 people pay $250,000 apiece to go on, we'll call it extreme adventure tourism. You know, they're going to go down in this submersible. Everybody understands that there is a huge risk. They sign waivers out the gazoo saying, yes, we know there's this risk and that risk. Now when something goes bad, the Coast Guard mobilizes. You've got people coming, the Navy's involved here. This search and rescue effort that it sounds like it's going to turn now into a recovery effort is costing the taxpayers millions and millions of dollars. Moving forward, can we continue to do this? And one of our texters is saying, well, yeah, this is going to be the issue. What about with you've got private people going up in space? What's going to happen when somebody goes up in space on one of these private rocket ships and they get trapped up there? Are the taxpayers going to spend millions and millions of dollars to try to effect a rescue? How do you do this? Let's start with Ron in Greenfield. Ron, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Agree with you, Jeff. I think that there should be an insurance policy taken out right up front that will cover the expenses of rescuing or search or whatever for these people. If you take a ride in an ambulance, there's a bill for that. You end up paying a price for that ambulance ride at a hospital. There should be a bill for this thing too.
Yeah, Ron, thanks for the call. I appreciate you joining us. I mean, of course, the problem with this is that the costs are so astronomical that I don't know that I don't know, first of all, that you'd have any insurance company that's going to underwrite the risk. And can you imagine what the cost of the policies would be to have something like this? Because, I mean, this is when something like this happens, the costs of the search and rescue are going to be devastating. At the same time, there is sort of a buyer beware attitude, and I don't mean to be heartless about this. And I understand, I mean, the Coast Guard's job, for example, is to find and save people. And so if you ever watch the show Deadliest Catch, right, you'll have these crab boats that'll be out in the ocean, and they're in the Bering Sea, and something will go wrong, and the Coast Guard will come and rescue them. And that's one thing, and I don't think anybody would argue that the Coast Guard shouldn't be doing that. But this isn't a commercial fisherman out there, trying to catch fish. This is somebody that's, I mean, people who are paying an enormous amount of money to go on what is going to be at least a potentially life-ending sort of trip. 855-616-1620. Jeff, was the submersible equipped with some sort of tracking device a la GPS? If not, would it make more sense rescue than search in the future? That would make it easier on taxpayers. My understanding is GPS doesn't work underwater, and for whatever reason, whatever tracking things they had stopped working. Did you realize, the more I read about this, the more I shake my head. Again, story in the Wall Street Journal today saying that they believe, nobody knows for sure because they haven't shared a lot of the technology that's involved in this, but it sounds like the controller, the thing that moved this thing, was like a $49 video game controller. I mean, a $49 video game controller that's the thing that operates this tube that's going 2.5 miles down through the ocean. 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Let's see. Jeff, these people mostly appear to be billionaires and millionaires by many, many millions. Before going up, they should have to post an astronomical bond with the government or somebody so that if a rescue needs to go on, it's being paid for by them. Well, that's a very, very interesting concept. Now, again, the problem is if they end up doing that, my guess is it's going to become so prohibitively expensive that you can't do it. But at the same time, my response to that might be, so what? I mean, maybe that should be the case. And I understand it's tough to differentiate between, well, Jeff, if you're saying that we shouldn't go out and try to rescue the people that are in this submersible tube, how can we justify going out and having to, help the crab boat that's now foundering in the Bering Sea? I just see them as different sort of things that are out there. Jeff, there's at least one billionaire on there. I think the wealthy families of the people on the sub should pay for the recovery effort. This is going to be an issue which is going to be subject to debate. It's kind of like, what do we do when you have the people that decide that they're going to climb Mount Everest, right? And then, they end up and they get stuck somewhere and they end up in huge problems with that. Is it fair to expect everybody to come and rescue them? And typically we do. But I do think we need to figure out a better system than this, because millions and millions of dollars in search rescue, if something like this happens again, I think you have to reconsider it. It's too bad that this has ended up this fashion. It's not necessarily a surprise, but the taxpayers are going to get a really, really big bill from this as well. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Hey, Greg, give me another broad.
John, be nice. We're representing WTMJ at Summerfest.
Sandy, I've been playing bags in the Gruber Law Office's Sport Zone for hours. I need fuel before we head to the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Mobile Studios. I should probably take this. Hello, this is John.
What? We're doing this interview or what?
Oh, shoot. We'll be right there.
All right, John. Here's that broad.
No time. Greg, we got to get going.
You're welcome.
Hear Wisconsin's afternoon news live at Summerfest on WTMJ.
Hey, Fleet Farm fans, you asked, we listened. You wanted lower prices? You got them. In-store, online. We drop prices everywhere. Lower prices on summer favorites like Liquid Pool Shock, Griller's Gold Barbecue Pellets, and Airhead Towables. Lower prices on big name pet care like Purina Tidy Cats. Lower prices on Valvoline motor oils. All because you said so. Look for the bright green price drop signs to find new lower prices on everything you need for everyday life. Only at Fleet Farm.
Hi, it's Samantha with Heiser. Summer's here, and so is the ability to order the all-new 2024 Toyota Highlander Grand. With more space, you'll be able to create more memories all year long. You'll get upfront pricing, no hidden market adjustment fees, and never pay over MSRP. Stop in or shop online today at HeiserToyota.com. At Heiser, today's your day.
See dealer for complete details. Tax title license, $3.99 service fees, and security deposit extra.
The new Raid Essentials Light Trap uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. For insecticide protection that's people and pet friendly, get new Raid Essential Light Trap.
Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you are over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money, call to get a free copy of this brand new movie, 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free, plus 2 hours of bonus behind-the-scenes footage. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535. Again, 1-800-578-3535.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
So very glad to have you with us. Nicest people stop by our mobile broadcast facility here at Summerfest. Former teammate, colleague Melissa Barkley, who was with John. Melissa just walked by there, waved and said hello. So if you're down and about at the lakefront, we have a wonderful view. We're looking out at the Summerfest Lagoon, and to my right is the BMO Pavilion. You can see that over the water. Just tremendous. And we're going to be broadcasting live from Summerfest every weekday of Summerfest. Keep in mind, Summerfest is now, this year, it's on that 3-day, 3-weekend schedule, Thursday through Saturday, and lots of great stuff going on, and hopefully this year, because there's a great lineup, hopefully the weather will cooperate, and it'll really give them a pretty good indicator of whether or not 3 days over 3 weekends is something that makes more sense than the old schedule where they used to start on a Wednesday, go through Sunday, take Monday off, and then go for the rest of the week. They're going to be looking at all those factors, and it's something to consider. A number of people are texting in. It does appear correct that it's a video game controller that's steering this. And a couple people are saying, well, why does that make a difference? I'm just telling you, if I'm going 2.5 miles below the sea, I think I want more advanced technology than a $49 controller for a Nintendo game. No disrespect to that, but that's just not me. All right, interesting piece. Advice to Harvard students. Do you know how you can tell if somebody went to Harvard? You know how you can tell if somebody went to Harvard? Well, all right. All you got to do is talk to them for 30 seconds, and they'll tell you. It doesn't matter what the situation would be. You could be saying, man, I was down there at Summerfest, and I had a great cheeseburger from Major Goolsby's. And within the first 15 seconds, the response would be, yeah, the cheeseburger at Major Goolsby's was really good. But, when I was at Harvard, there was a little restaurant off to the side. It doesn't matter where you are or what. Within the first 30 seconds of a conversation with somebody you don't know, they will point out that they went to Harvard, and they'll figure out some way to work it into the conversation. Piece in the Wall Street Journal today that I love. Advice to Harvard students and alums. Don't gratuitously drop the H-bomb. Tension is growing at the most famous Ivy League school over whether the word Harvard carries more baggage these days. Should you say, I went to a school outside of Boston? Well, maybe maybe you don't need to brag about what school you went to everybody that you talk to. When I discuss, people say, well, where'd you go to law school? Well, if you ask me where I went to law school, I say I graduated from Marquette University Law School. But I don't feel compelled in the first 15 seconds of a conversation to say, well, when I was at Marquette, they had a great bar that we would go to. Nope. I think this is great advice to Harvard students and alums. You don't have to drop the H-bomb. Nobody cares. When we come back, we're going to talk about a sentencing of one of the guys on the Kia Boys video. We're going to talk about the new numbers out for the not-so-high-speed bus line, and we're going to discuss Northridge. All that is coming up as we continue our broadcast from Summerfest 2023. This is Jeff Wagner.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Outdoor living here is great, but it's best when it's at your own home. And there's a company called Outdoor Living Unlimited that will build you a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, all manner of things to enhance outdoor living at your place, even an outdoor kitchen. Contact Outdoor Living Unlimited and get creative about your yard. Your wishes, your ideas. Outdoor Living Unlimited's knowledge and expertise. Roll those dreams into reality. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com. That's OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Would you trust a part-time dentist? Then why would you trust a part-time fiduciary? Some financial professionals say they're a fiduciary, and they are, part-time. The other portion of the time they're interacting with you, they might be serving other interests. Do yourself a favor. Ask your financial professional if they're a fiduciary all the time. Annex Wealth Management is. Drill down into your finances with the full-time fiduciary team at Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
The wait is over. Summerfest is here. Come see WTMJ broadcast live during Summerfest inside the Fellow Windows and Doors mobile studio in the Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone. Celebrate Summerfest with us. News Radio WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 1 o'clock, it is 75 degrees, sunny and warm today, a high of 83 at the lake, 87 degrees inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Wyatt Barmar-Pooley. The United States Coast Guard saying they have found what they call a debris field in the area being searched for the missing Titan submersible. ABC's Jacqueline Lee says the intense pressure the craft had to withstand and a limited supply of oxygen was one of the many safety issues that the craft's 5 passengers faced on the mission.
The vessel is only 22 feet. I'm told it's similar to a minivan. So not only are they all either laying or sitting and they can't really move much, you have to remember the ocean is unpredictable, and at that level of depth, it's 2 miles beneath the sea, there is no light. It is pitch black. It's also freezing. So there's concern that even if they did survive, that they could go into hypothermia because of how cold it is.
The BBC reporting from dive expert David Mearns, who says the debris includes a landing frame and rear cover from the submersible. He believes that it is the debris. The debris is from the missing sub. Mearns is a friend of passengers aboard the Titan. The Coast Guard isn't releasing any further details until its press conference. That'll be today at 2 p.m. You can hear that on WTMJ. We will carry it live. Milwaukee police say they have arrested who they believe to be the sole shooter behind the shooting that erupted shortly after the Juneteenth festivities concluded earlier this week. 6 teens were shot in the area of Martin Luther King Jr. and Chambers. Milwaukee police officers responding to the area around 4:20 p.m. Thousands still gathered in the area since the city's Juneteenth event ended earlier that day at 4 p.m. Summerfest beginning today. Eric Church is the headliner at the American Family Amphitheater, and the big gig could prove to be a ticket to the big time for some local bands.
It's going crazy every day.
Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Ben Reed is with the pop-punk group Fall Back. A West Bend native, Reed tells WTMJ he's not overlooking what a slot on the Miller Lite Oasis stage could mean for them.
Especially at a bigger stage like this. I would love to headline there someday, but it's just awesome to be part of that experience and culture.
Mike Spalding, WTMJ.
Reed and Fall Back playing the Miller Lite Oasis stage on Friday at 2:30. And the NBA draft taking place tonight. A young man from Muskego who played his high school ball in Delafield is expecting to hear his name called.
Pajimski with the flush.
A four-star recruit in the class of 2021, Brandon Podziemski played his high school ball at St. John's Northwestern Academy, where he racked up over 2,100 career points.
Podziemski on the run. The reverse falls.
Podziemski is one of 19 athletes to be invited to the NBA's draft green room, signifying his position as a projected first-round pick. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Podziemski.
More sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1:03.
Matt had just moved into his first apartment and needed furniture to fill it, but he didn't have a big credit line. So I told him about St. Vincent de Paul. There's always a nice selection of gently used furniture there, and sometimes you can find some really cool retro pieces. And the best part is, it's always super affordable. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores for first-time furniture buyers or anyone looking for great deals on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Years ago, Mom believed in us so much, she wrote a business plan to get the company started, and today, Johnson & Sons Paving is thriving.
And loaded with family.
I'm Jason Johnson.
And I'm Jeff Johnson.
Johnson & Sons Paving is your premier asphalt, concrete, seal coating, and striping company.
From pothole patching to asphalt repairs
to parking lot total reconstructions, we have you covered.
Johnson & Sons Paving is customer-focused and quality-driven.
Call us today.
262-251-5585.
Johnson & Sons Paving.com.
What's the way to build your wealth?
While going over a new client's statements from one of the big financial firms, I was floored when I read that firm does not offer tax or estate planning advice. Because we know that saving money for our clients on their taxes, legally and well within the law, can make a huge difference in their financial plan. If you want to wisely build your wealth, it is my firm opinion that without a comprehensive approach, you're going to be at a big disadvantage. At Financial Strategies, Inc., we're taking a deep dive and creating comprehensive strategies that develop your retirement, investment, and your tax and estate planning. And all under a fee-only structure that means the success we care about most is yours. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
Bucs forward Chris Middleton declines the $40.3 million option on his contract. Middleton could return to the Bucs on a multi-year deal for a lesser average annual value. NBA draft night tonight, the Bucs own just one selection, number 58 overall, the final pick in the two-round event. Former St. John's Northwest Academy standout Brandon Podziemski invited to the green room. He's projected to be a first-round pick. And no game for the Brewers. A 10-game road trip begins tomorrow night in Cleveland against the Guardians. Milwaukee 1.5 games back of the Reds for first place in the NL Central. Greg Matzik, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic, and it looks like we are still seeing some slowdowns on 43 and 94. Those have been the trouble spots this afternoon, and it continues. 94 eastbound from the zoo into downtown will take you 12 minutes. That is a 6-minute delay. At 43 southbound from Brown Deer Road, also to downtown, will take you 17 minutes. That is a 6-minute delay. Everything else is looking good. No major accidents around Metro Milwaukee.
Traffic is brought to you by Crest Cadillac. Find them at crestcadillac.com. Crest Cadillac of Brookfield, located on Capitol Drive, just west of Interstate 41. Discover Crest Cadillac at crestcadillac.com.
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny and warm today, a high of 83 at the lake, 87 degrees inland. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 62. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 83. Saturday, increasing clouds, warm and slightly humid, a high of 85. Sunday, chance of showers and storms. It'll be cloudy, warm, and still humid, a high of 82. And on Monday, a chance of showers, mostly cloudy, and a high of 75. Right now, in Madison, it is 87. In Green Bay, it's 85. In Waukesha, it's 83. And in Milwaukee, it is 75 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1:07.
From the Pella Windows and Doors mobile studio at the Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone, it's the Jeff Wagner Show, live from Summerfest. Now, here's Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome back. As we've been saying all along, we are broadcasting live from the lakefront. It is opening day, Summerfest 2023. The weather could not be more wonderful. And if you're looking for an excuse to kind of play hooky, this is the perfect event. And lots of people down here. I had a chance to get out a little bit during the break. And a lot of people coming down here. They are enjoying Summerfest. Great to see Summerfest back. An absolute treasure. And I always say this, sometimes I think we take things for granted. In the last hour of the program, we were talking to Summerfest CEO Don Smiley, who's wrapping up his tenure, 20 years as the CEO of Summerfest. And it's amazing to look at all the positive changes to Summerfest over the last 2 decades, all the structures, all the buildings, all the stages. And I think sometimes we tend to take that stuff for granted without realizing how much went into that and how difficult it is to maintain an institution. All right, there's another example of that that's playing out in our community, and it has to do with the Milwaukee Brewers and American Family Field. Now, we all know this story. A lot of controversy when Miller Park was being built, about how it was going to be paid for. We all remember the stories about the controversy involving the 0.5% sales tax that ended up costing a guy who was a friend of mine, State Senator George Petak, his job because he changed his vote in the middle of the night, and that allowed the stadium tax to go into effect, which allowed the stadium to be built, and he ended up losing his job in a recall effort, and it continues to be controversial. Well, that 5-county sales tax has now expired. The problem is the stadium is, of course, owned by the taxpayers. They're owned by the general public. And there is an obligation to maintain the stadium and keep it up to standards of other sorts of other facilities across, for example, Major League Baseball. That's what the owners of the stadium, the taxpayers, the Stadium District Board, has to do. Problem is, you got to get the money to do that, and that money has to come from somewhere. And they estimate that over the course of the next 20 years, we're going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of about $450 million to continue to make the necessary upgrades to the stadium. And the issue then becomes, where is that money going to come from? Tony Evers took it upon himself and kind of decided to go rogue and say, okay, I want to take about $300 million out of the budget surplus, and I want to give it to the Brewers so that this can be done and these improvements can be made. And a lot of people said, no, we're not going to do that. The problem, of course, is there's a couple different arguments. First of all, if you're looking for state tax money to be involved, there are a lot of legislators outside the Milwaukee area who believe, and whose constituents believe, that they get very, very little return from having Major League Baseball in Milwaukee. Whatever arguments you can make about, hey, this is great for the community and you get attention and it brings revenue in and things like that, it doesn't necessarily help somebody who's in Minocqua. It doesn't help somebody necessarily who's in La Crosse. I'm not saying I agree with that, because keep in mind, professional athletes pay, for example, state income tax, depending on for every game they play in Milwaukee, they pay Wisconsin income tax, for a prorated portion of their salary. So it's not true that there's not some financial benefit, but I understand clearly there's more direct benefit that comes to, I think, maybe a business that's located in Milwaukee County from American Family Field than if you have a business that's located in Bayfield County. There's no question about that. So there's a huge issue with outstate legislators, and that is both Republicans and Democrats, who are not necessarily on board with spending state tax dollars to, support the Brewers or to support the stadium that they get very little, perceive very little advantage from. The second issue is the fact that, okay, you've got these baseball players that are making millions of dollars, you've got these owners who are billionaires. Why is it that the taxpayers should have to shell out dime one to upgrade or make improvements on these stadiums that they're making all this money off of? And so that's another one of the arguments that is out there. But at the end of the day, you got to decide, do we want to make a financial commitment to make something like this happen? Now, I bring this up because Assembly Speaker Robin Voss, did an interview yesterday, and he said, look, here's the problem. Right now, we cannot reach an agreement. I can't reach an agreement with the Republicans in the Assembly. We can't reach an agreement with the Democrats in the Assembly. We don't have enough votes right now to present a package, to advance a package that would provide funding for, upgrades to the Brewers Stadium. And he's just being honest about it. He said, we're trying to work for this, but so far we're not there. It is complicated also by virtue of the fact that the Milwaukee County Board is now on record as saying we don't think that we should have to pay anything for this. Matter of fact, the county executive signed a resolution that opposes any county funds being used for American Family Field's long-term renovations. So once again, you can make this argument that, well, to the extent there's benefits, yeah, it benefits the whole state, but it benefits Milwaukee County. Why shouldn't Milwaukee County be required to at least make some sort of contribution in one way, shape, or form to the cost of these upgrades? And the county board is already saying, we don't want to spend a dime on that. We oppose all this. So you understand what the problem is. Our number is 855-616-1620. That's the old National Bank talk and text line. I don't exactly know what the answer is, but the fundamental question is, should tax dollars be used to make the stadium improvements that will lead to the Brewers staying here? 855-616-1620. One way or another, the money's got to come from somewhere. It's got to come from the state. It's got to come from the city. It's got to come from the county. But one way or another, that the money's got to come from the taxpayers, or else the Brewers are probably going to be gone in the next 5 to 10 years. All right, will that be a loss? Should we be paying for it? And how? 855-616-1620. We discuss in a moment.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Hey, it's Steve Scafidi from WTMJ. I've got some fun and exciting news to share with you all. For the first time ever, you can download my show wherever and everywhere you get your podcasts. That's right, Apple, Google, Spotify, and so much more. Just get on the app, hit play, and tune in to me when I talk about all that really matters. Like this. You don't like NFL football. What's wrong with you? Please, people. And of course, this. There's nothing funny about this stuff. Crime in Milwaukee? Funny? I don't think so. Keep up with me and all things that matter wherever you get your podcasts.
This is WTMJ's Jeff Wagner for the Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin's Health Network. Look, Parkinson's disease affects around 1 million people in the U.S. and 15,000 in Wisconsin alone, with symptoms gradually worsening over time. We learned about who is affected. We learned the signs and symptoms, treatment options, and more from Dr. Karen Blindauer, a neurologist with the Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin's Health Network. Listen to that conversation and all our previous everyday health discussions simply by visiting the Features drop-down menu at WTMJ.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. I always thought Vince Lombardi came up with that famous sports nugget, but it turns out he borrowed it from a college coach. And now I'm going to borrow it too. Because when there are 10 or 20 offers on a property, there's only one winner. In today's inventory-starved real estate market, you need a Lombardi-level mortgage coach. One who has all the best plays in the playbook. Going with your bank for your pre-approval is like playing in a professional playoff game with the JV coach at the helm. The Lombardi-level coaches at AccuNet are called senior loan consultants, and each one has been trained by me to help you and your real estate agent work as one team to deliver the one and only thing that matters, winning. So if you've been losing with your flimsy bank pre-approval, trade up today to a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and a Lombardi-level game plan. And if you're just getting started, why not start with the best? Click on the blue button today and get started with your winning game plan at ACCUNET.com.
It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta, and I have told you about the delicious pizza and Italian snacks that you can find at Proof Pizza inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel. But now there's even more to be excited about. The restaurant has added new sandwiches to the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can enjoy items like the Red Rock Chicken BLT, the Meatball Hero, and more. Order from the counter at Proof or directly from the bar at St. Kate. Explore the new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Welcome back. We are broadcasting broadcasting live from Summerfest 2023, and this year, for the first year, we are live streaming our broadcast. We have cameras all over, so if you want to see what it looks like in the mobile broadcast facility, all you have to do is go to WTMJ.com and click on the Watch Live Stream, or go to YouTube TV. We've got our own YouTube channel. You can also listen to us, again, in all the normal ways. 855-616-1620. That is the Old National Bank talk and text line. And we're discussing the fundamental question. And Robin Voss, who's the Speaker of the Assembly, Voss has got an issue here because he wants to get this deal done. There's no question about it. He believes that the Brewers are important for the economic engine around here and wants to figure out a way to get it done. But right now there's no consensus on how to do it, and it's made more complicated by the fact that, for example, the Milwaukee County Board says, we don't want to put a dime into it. So if you've got local authorities and local officials who don't want to put a dime into this, how do you end up getting the deal done? 855-616-1620. Jeff, don't spend a dime. Players make millions, owners make hundreds of millions, and I can't even afford to go to the game, and if I did, I couldn't afford a beer. Well, I understand that there's that sentiment that's out there, but again, keep in mind that the revenue, when people do go to American Family Field, that revenue, the revenues generated in sales taxes and things like that, that ends up, that's a situation where that goes to benefit the state. Mike in McGuanago. Mike, you're first. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What do you think?
Okay. We're talking about a $7 billion surplus here. And we're going to give away $200 million to the Brewers. How much percentage-wise is that? Oakland just lost their baseball team, their basketball team, and their football team. What would that do to Milwaukee's economy? It would shatter us.
So your point is it's a drop in the bucket, whether it's $300 million or $400 million or whatever. Just take it because it's worth it. That's what you think.
Absolutely, positively spend every day. I just went to my first Brewers game. My daughter took me last Sunday. The last one I went to was the 1982 World Series. It was amazing. That stadium is amazing. Do not lose this team.
Mike, I'm curious. What took you 40 years to get back to a ball game?
Work.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for the call, Mike. I appreciate it. And look, there is
4 kids.
Got it. Mike, thanks a lot for joining us. 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. And I understand that's the sentiment, that the Brewers are a powerful asset and that they bring a lot in and it's worth anything, and just end up spending the money. At the same time, the flip side is, again, how do you deal with that, and how do you decide? And when you're talking about public subsidies, see, I think expecting the state taxpayers to pay all the freight, I'm afraid that's kind of a non-starter. I think that you're going to have, if Milwaukee, I think Milwaukee County, and I understand Milwaukee County has huge financial problems, but if Milwaukee County, for example, is one of the largest beneficiaries of spending, for example, on the Brewers and the tourism and everything like that, I think for them to simply say we're not going to make a contribution, I don't think that's reasonable. For the city of Milwaukee, and again, American Family Field is in the city of Milwaukee, I don't think that's reasonable to say we're not going to make a contribution. And this is from the perspective of somebody who goes to, I've got a 20-pack season tickets to the Brewers games. I go to those and probably another handful of games on my own. So I understand what Mike is talking about. I think it's a wonderful facility. I want to see the deal get done, but I think everybody's going to end up having to have skin in the game. Let's talk to Joe in Grafton. Joe, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
Hi, Joe.
I can't drive my car, so I pulled. Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on.
Right,
I got you.
Hey, I had to turn around and pull my car over. I'm at the post office. But I wanted to talk to you about how we can keep the Brewers forever and how it's paid for. And Robin Voss, I like him sometimes, and he's working hard. And I probably could get Governor Evers reelected with this comment. But here's how it goes. Number one, I'll say we're going to keep the Brewers forever, and I know how to pay for it. I picked out some of the best institutions in Wisconsin of where we should take our money that we already paid. It's already in there, a big surplus we got. That money is there. And what I wanted to do is talk to you, because you're a pretty level-headed guy. I got done with my surgery. I got them. So I stuck at home having to listen to you, and I really enjoy what you say.
Well, Joe,
level-headed.
Joe, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Level-headed. That's one of the nicer things that somebody said to me today. Joe, thanks for the call. I appreciate you joining us. 855-616-1620. Look, here's the deal. I mean, see, a lot of people would argue that surplus, where does the surplus come from? Well, the surplus comes from the fact that the taxpayers overpaid on that. So you can make a strong argument that rather than government spending it, that surplus should go back to, I don't know, the people who paid that money. Sam and McHenry. Sam, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
How you doing, Jeff? I think you're level-headed, too, by the way.
Thank you, pal. Appreciate it.
Okay,
what do you think
anyway,
about this?
Well, you know what? I almost think it's time for a national discussion here on all this, because let's start off with a generation or two ago. Most of these ball players, when they quit playing ball, pick your sport, they had to go out and get a regular job after they're done. These guys are multimillionaires before they're 30 years old. They got enough money for their kids and their grandkids sometimes. So if you were to come up to me, Jeff, and say, hey, I'm going to give you this baseball stadium in Milwaukee, and that's not like County Stadium was years ago. And the only thing you got to do is do some repairs, and it's all yours. I'd take that in a heartbeat as a business person. They got this stadium, and it's still not good enough for them. And that's typical of sports teams all over this country. And I think really it needs to end, because these guys are just shaking people down for money. They're making millions of dollars, and everybody else is paying for it. And it's out of control at this point. And it's time they start paying for their own infrastructure.
Right. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you joining us. Here's the thing. I mean, from the perspective of the athletes, and I get it. I mean, I understand all the money that athletes make. We were talking about the Packers cornerback the other day, Jair Alexander, who walked away from a $700,000 bonus because he didn't want to go to a couple of voluntary workouts. And I don't care if he goes to workouts or not, but where do you get in a world where, you just all you have to do is show up and they're going to give you $700,000 and you have so much money that you could just kind of walk away from that. So I understand, but that's kind of the world of professional athletes now. And as people are finding out, like in Oakland, now Oakland's been just a hot mess for years and years when it comes to stadiums and stuff, but finally, enough is enough. The stadium in Oakland is really, really bad, and so they're moving, and they're going to be moving to Las Vegas probably in the next couple of years. So these teams do, in fact, move. The other thing that people need to remember about Milwaukee is the stadium is owned by us. I mean, it's owned by the taxpayers. It's administered by the stadium board. So we as owners have an obligation to keep property up. It's like if you had a rental house, you'd have to put a new roof on it. You'd have to make upgrades and things like that. So I think that there's an obligation to do this. I think that we should be able to do it, quite candidly, for a lot less money than some of the things that they're talking about. And some of these numbers seem really whacked out for me. On top of that, I think everybody needs to, again, get at least a little bit of skin in the game. And for the county board to simply say, well, we're not going to make a contribution, doesn't make it any easier for any of the state legislators to get this done. My guess is it does get done at some point in time, but I think it's going to be a struggle. Maybe not as much of a struggle as it was years and years ago when we tried to get Miller Park built. But this is not going to be an easy pull either. Back with much more in just a couple minutes. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
Stay tuned. Jeff Wagner returns after this on WTMJ.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. At Creative Planning, we offer full-service, comprehensive wealth management services through our in-house team of wealth managers, accountants, and attorneys to integrate all aspects of your financial life. Get all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house. Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey boaters.
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, a group of doctors I trusted with my knee surgery. The pain was real and options were important. My experience with each doctor was thorough, the appointments were timely, always close and easy access to the building. My mom felt the same way, I know, when she went there for her physical therapy appointments at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. I trusted their surgical team for my knee surgery, and I know they'll take care of you the way they did my mom and me. Make an appointment at orthowisconsin.com.
Need a new bank for your small business? How about an old one? For a limited time, you can earn up to a $500 cash bonus when you open a free or basic business checking account with Old National. So think big when it comes to your small business and choose a bank where relationships and results have mattered for nearly 200 years. Visit a local banking center or learn more at oldnational.com/success today. Complete qualifying activities within 60 days of account opening. $50 minimum initial deposit required. Account must remain open 120 days. Member FDIC. Old National Bank. Get old.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Join WTMJ Sandy Max and the American Red Cross for our WTMJ Cares event, the Milwaukee County Zoo Blood Drive. Donate blood during this 3-day drive, Monday, June 26th through Wednesday the 28th. My wife is going out there Monday morning, going out and donating blood. It's all going to be used to help boost the supply of necessary blood during this ongoing shortage. Plus, if you register for the event, receive free zoo admission and tickets to Summerfest. The Summerfest tickets are available while supplies last. For more information and to sign up, text BLOOD, B-L-O-O-D, to 855-616-1620. It's the WTMJ Cares with our very own Sandy Max and the help of our friends at Gruber Law Offices. Right now, WTMJ Breaking News Time is 1:30 p.m. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, here's Wyatt Barmore-Pooley.
Thanks, Jeff. The U.S. Coast Guard saying it's found a debris field near the side of the Titanic that will be examined to see if it's part of the Ocean Gate submersible, the Titan. That vessel had 5 people on board when it lost communication about an hour and 45 minutes into its descent to the Titanic wreckage. Crews from the U.S. and other nations have been hard at work trying to locate the vessel for days. Now, the BBC also reporting that the dive expert and friend of the passengers aboard the Titan, David Mearns, says the debris does include a landing frame and the rear cover from the Titan submersible. The Coast Guard has not confirmed whether that debris that has been found is from the missing sub. They will be giving a press conference update at 2 p.m. And a future funding mechanism for American Family Field still up in the air. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos says it's unlikely a bill that would provide funding for the upkeep of AmFam will be voted on before July 4th. That had been the target date. Vos says negotiations are ongoing. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. And we've got now all three, the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ in the green. The Dow is only up 2 points, but it is in the green. The S&P up 10 points, that's about 0.25%. And the NASDAQ is up over 0.5%. It is up 88 points. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit AXWealth.com. Click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic, and looking like there's no accidents reported right now, but we've still got those delays, same as it's been all afternoon. 94 eastbound from the zoo to downtown is going to cost you about 6 minutes delay. It'll be a 12-minute ride. Again, that delay right beyond the zoo interchange, but before you get to American Family Field. 43 southbound from Brownie Road to downtown will take you 17 minutes. That is a 6-minute delay. And now time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny skies and warm today, a high of 83 at the lake, 87 degrees inland. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 62. Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 83. Saturday, increasing clouds, warm, and it'll be slightly humid, a high of 85. Sunday, chance of showers and storms. It will be cloudy, warm, still humid, a high of 82. And Monday, a chance of showers, mostly cloudy skies, and a high of 75 degrees. Right now, in downtown Milwaukee, it is 75 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, citing Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:33.
I'm Jeff Wagner. Coming up next, he's out. Was justice done? I'll explain. We'll discuss.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Get up, get out, get over here, go! It's the Grand Slam giveaway at Potawatomi. This June, play with your club card and you'll have 4 chances to hit big and slide into home with a share of the show-stopping $400,000 in cash and prizes. 50 winners each Thursday. Step up and knock your luck out of the park. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/Grand Slam. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Hi, it's Samantha with Heiser. Summer's here. Enjoy with good company and great adventures with the perfect vehicle. Choose from our options on lot or special order one today. Remember, you'll get upfront pricing, and we have inventory under MSRP. Stop in or shop online and see all our specials at Heiser.com. At Heiser, today's your day.
See dealer for complete details.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Yeah, that's who you say you are, but who are you really?
Weston.
I don't believe you. I also don't believe that Hasselus mattress showrooms have no employees. How is that even possible?
Come see for yourself. You can test out our mattresses without any salespeople breathing down your neck.
Sure, buddy, whatever you say.
That's how we're able to keep our prices way low. Our 34 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Free next day delivery, too.
I'm not buying it.
Well, if you are buying a new Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic mattress between now and Monday, we'll take an additional $200 off the already rock bottom price.
So you're telling me all of this is true?
Yes.
Promise?
Promise.
Pinky?
Pinky.
Wow, you are serious.
Trade in your old mattress and save an additional $200 off a new Sealy Posturepedic or Beauty Rest mattress through Monday at Hasselus. Find an employee-free showroom near you or at Hasselus.com.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Summerfest 2023, so very glad to have you with us. And by the way, if you want to see what we look like when we're doing this for the first time this year, we're live streaming the broadcasts from our mobile broadcast facility. All you have to do is either go to our WTMJ YouTube channel or alternatively go to WTMJ.com and click on the Watch Live stream as well, and you can see what the mobile broadcast facility looks like. It's kind of like a trailer, but it's kind of nice. We've got all sorts of stuff in there. It's amazing how this has developed over the years. Okay, you will remember, perhaps, the Kia Boys video. This goes back to May 31st of last year, so it's over a year ago. Video was uploaded to YouTube titled Kia Boys Documentary, a story of teenage car theft. And if you'll remember, there is this guy, a local documentarian or whatever, who goes into an area of the city and starts talking to these people who have stolen cars as part of the whole Kia Boys. The Kia Boys being a group of people who go out and steal Kias and Hyundais. In the video that they're making, a red Hyundai Elantra is seen being driven recklessly near 36th and Cortlandt. This is a car that was stolen in Oak Creek a week or two beforehand. Now, long story short, one of the guys that goes on the video arrives at the scene in the stolen car, goes on and ends up doing an interview with the guy who's making the video, then ends up driving off. This video goes viral. I hate that because it's such a cliche, but it goes viral. So everybody's looking at this going, what do you know what is going on in Milwaukee with these brazen thefts? Well, ultimately, what they do is the police go out, they investigate this, they find the stolen car, and it has a fingerprint in it that comes back to one of the defendants in this case. Guy's name is Markel Hughes. He was 17 at the time. He's now 18. So he gets arrested May 30th of 2022. He's making calls from the jail. And again, I always say this from a prosecutor's perspective. Sometimes criminals are difficult to catch. Other times, they're what we call low-hanging fruit. So this Markel Hughes, gets on the phone, and of course, if you've ever been in a jail, they have these big signs saying your calls are recorded. And he goes on, and he's apparently talking to somebody, and during the phone conversation, he says, "Hey, I heard my video went viral too. I heard my fill in the blank hit 50K in one day." Officials said the video had close to 500,000 views after 2 weeks. So he's, okay, my fingerprints in the stolen car, and now I'm on the phone in the jail talking about how, I heard my video went viral. June 10th, he was interviewed by detectives, and he admitted to being the driver of the car in one of the incidents, he doesn't steal cars, but he agreed with it when the detective said, "You just drive them." Okay, so that's the bottom line. He's one of the poster children for the rampant car theft that's been going on. So he appears in circuit court earlier this week, enters a guilty plea. And interestingly, for example, the headline on the Fox 6 story, and I don't mean to pick on Fox 6 because typically I think they do a good work of covering this, but the headline says, Kia Boy's YouTube documentary, driver sentenced to 1 year in prison. Well, that's correct, and it's not correct at the same time. What actually happened is that he went in, he ended up pleading guilty, and yes, I'm looking at the sentencing right now. What ended up happening is that he was sentenced to 4 years in prison. But hold on. What happened, though, is that he was then an initial term of confinement for 1 year, and a maximum term of extended supervision is 3 years. Okay? But here's what happened. He's been held in custody since he was arrested. So as a practical matter, he gets credit for time served, so he is going to be released like any day. Now, he's been held pretrial while this is all pending, but he's going to be released, and he's going to be out on probation. So what you have here is one of the poster children of the whole auto theft thing, who ends up, it's a year, but it's really a year because he couldn't end up making bail, and now he's going to be back out on the street. Now, there's all the conditions. Again, I'm looking at this saying, all right, well, when you get out, you're going to be a felon. You can't have a gun. You're going to have to work a minimum of 20 hours per week. You're going to have to obtain and maintain a valid driver's license. Don't know about that. But the bottom line is, yes, it was a year, but it was really time served is what this amounts to. And now he's going to be, if he's not back out on the street already, he's going to be back out on the street soon. Our number is 855-616-1620, which is the Old National Bank talk and text line. How do we and how should the court system treat car thieves? Now, on the one hand, my guess is this guy spending this time in jail waiting trial, isn't going to end up being behind bars more than most people who steal cars in the city of Milwaukee who are able to somehow post bail or who never get caught. No question about that. But at the same time, he's essentially entered a guilty plea, and he's going to be released sometime soon. Does this make any sense? Do we need to treat people who steal cars more significantly? 855-616-1620. We discuss in a moment.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 5 to 8 ounce package selected varieties, Sargento Deli style sliced cheese, 2 for $6. 2-liter bottle selected varieties, Super Chill soft drinks, 99 cents. 24 to 70 count package selected varieties, Chinette classic white plates or bowls, $6.99. 10 to 10.8 ounce package selected varieties, Bird's Eye vegetables, 4 for $5.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take them out at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience from Century Foods. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 26th.
This is WTMJ's Jeff Wagner here to tell you about Built Right Furniture's USA-made mattress sale. You can shop the most unique selection with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Look, Built Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free store. With Built Right's legitimate sale prices, you will get an exceptional value and you'll get a great night's sleep. Built Right does the research for you and their team will take the time to help fit you. Built Right specializes in flippable, two-sided mattresses and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, they offer free delivery on mattress-only purchases of $5.99 or more, and they will remove your old mattress as well. Select model sets include a free mattress pad or heavy-duty bed frame. Voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association's 2023 National Retailer of the Year Award. They're open Monday through Saturday. They open at 10 a.m., they close at 6. Sunday they're closed to be with family. When you get there, do me a favor, do yourself a favor too, because they love to hear this. Tell them WTMJ's Jeff Wagner sent you to locally and family-owned Built Right, 5430 West Layton Avenue in Greenfield, just off I-894.
Get rid of nasty household chemicals properly. There's a free one-day collection at Cardinal Stritch this Saturday. Use the main entrance off Port Washington Road. Get all the details at mmsd.com. Milwaukee County residents only, no businesses.
Hi folks, this is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. Now that we're into the festival season, the festivals at BBC Lighting are bigger than ever. Our huge showroom is filled with all the latest lights and ceiling fans, including the newest LED styles, crystal chandeliers, table and floor lamps, mirrors, and outdoor lights. And don't forget about our lampshade and repair departments. BBC is a festival of lighting, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. BBC is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and on Saturday from 10 to 4. We're located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's and Bachman Furniture, all near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
You're listening to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Your time right, I got the blue. From my head down to my shoe.
We are broadcasting live from Summerfest 2023, as I've been saying all day, an absolute Chamber of Commerce day. All sorts of great performers as well. Stop down. You have my excuse to play hooky and enjoy the great day as Summerfest 2023 opens. Once again, we're going to be broadcasting live. At least I'm going to be here almost every weekday of Summerfest. And keep in mind, this year, as last year, it's 3 days. It's Thursday through Saturday over the course of 3 weekends. So I think there's the last week, I think there might be an early Brewers game or something. But otherwise, I'm here Thursdays and Fridays. And we'd love to have people stop by and say hello. Okay, what we're talking about now is that one of the kids, one of the young people in the Kia Boys video who is shown driving the stolen car recklessly and bragging about it. The police catch him. And they decide that they want to publicize this incident because they want to show that, hey, we really do take car theft seriously. So they catch him. This has gotten a bunch of attention. He appeared in court earlier this week, and he essentially was released with time served and put on probation. Now, the time served was the better part of a year. It's been a year since he was arrested, so he's been behind bars. But he's now going to be out on probation, extended supervision, whatever you want to call it. Bottom line is, does this deter people? Do we need to be tougher on car thieves? Because here's the reality of that goes on. With all due respect to my friends in law enforcement, we don't catch people the first time in general that they steal cars. most of the times what you have is people who are stealing car after car after car after car, and they're getting away with it. And maybe by the time you catch them, it's just like drunk driving. You almost never catch somebody driving drunk the first time they do it. It's after they've done it for dozens of times. Unfortunately, the same thing is true with car thefts. So I guess the question becomes, understanding that this is kind of a game for some people, but if you are a victim of car theft, it's not a game at all. Do we need to be doing more than giving people time served? 855-616-1620, one of our texts. Jeff, I think they need to be given the max. No plea bargains. State laws need to change to levy the punishment that the DAs and the judges refuse to. We also need to stop expunging records so juveniles have no place to hide. I think this is absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, I agree completely with the texter when he says we need to open up juvenile records. One of the ongoing frustrations, and we talk about it on this program a lot, is when you see somebody who's 17 years old or 18 or 19 who ends up getting arrested for really serious behavior. We don't, and the public doesn't know what it was as a general rule that the person did before that. So if, it's juvenile court and they stole cars or whatever, that doesn't become, as a general rule, part of their adult record unless for car theft they get waived into adult court, and almost never does that end up happening. 855-616-1620. Jeff, my car is parked in the city of Milwaukee. My insurance premium has risen 33% in a year. I have a clean driving record. This is due to the activities of people like the Kia boys. You wonder why I don't spend money at Miller Park or Summerfest? It's because of my insurance cost. Huge ripple effect because of this idiot and the Kia boys. Lock him up. Well, I think that there is an element to that. Jeff, could you remind me why we refuse to make examples of car thieves? What's in it for the judges to do so? And why wouldn't the police chief and the mayor be furious that they keep getting slaps on the wrist? That is ultimately the $64,000 question. Now, you would think that in a community where certain types of crimes are absolutely out of control and affect quality of life issues, people who are having their cars stolen on a regular basis and things like that, you would think that there would be an effort that would be put towards trying to lock people up and hold people accountable so you could say, look, don't worry about coming here because your car is going to be stolen. I'll tell you a quick story. Very, very good friend of mine, his sister was in San Francisco, and the interesting thing is, they always talk about the old jokes about how a liberal, a liberal is just a conservative who's never been robbed. So she's in a rental car. She's in San Francisco. She parks it on the street, in a very, very famous street in San Francisco, and they've got a sign saying, watch your belongings, high car theft area. She goes away for 10 minutes, comes back, windows are smashed, the car is looted. Her bag that she had in the trunk of the car, the people were able to access it once they got in. They popped the trunk, and it's gone. And she just became absolutely infuriated, and as a matter of fact has been sending letters to the mayor of San Francisco saying, how can you allow this stuff to go on where you have a city that is essentially so completely and totally inhospitable to tourism? But yeah, what's in it? What is in it for these elected officials, and why don't they confront this? Jeff, I think there needs to be a little bit more focus on educating kids about how this affects people and what the consequences are, as well as making the tougher consequences. Too many of these kids have no idea why this is so much of a problem. They don't think about the risks. We have to remember that many are 13 to 15 years old. I guess there's an element of that, but really, how do you do that? How do you educate people? How do you, thinking about that thing that happened at Juneteenth earlier this week, how do you say to a 17-year-old, don't bring a gun in your waistband to this street festival? I mean, and do we expect that 17-year-olds don't know that? How do we say to 13 and 14-year-olds, don't go out and steal stuff that doesn't belong to you, much less other people's cars, and then drive it recklessly and crash it? I mean, I guess if you need to tell people that, maybe we need to tell people that, but how did it ever get that screwed up? Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner.
Hey, Sandy, I've still got some time before my show starts. Let's go play some cornhole.
Well, it's nice of you to invite me, Jeff, but I still got to prepare for the news. Plus, who actually calls it cornhole? Isn't it bags?
Whatever you call it, it's all at Summerfest. You can check out Jeff Wagner broadcasting live at Summerfest on Thursdays and Fridays from noon to 3 in the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Mobile Studio at the Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone by the lakefront.
Cornhole.
Bags.
Cornhole.
It's WTMJ at Summerfest 2023.
The year is almost half over and you are still dealing with that knee or hip pain, right? Enough is enough. Pills are not the answer and neither is surgery. You need to call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. The advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without chronic joint pain. You can do all those summer activities you used to enjoy. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking healing properties from your own body and applying them right to your achy joint so your joint tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. The treatment is revolutionary, and it's right here in Milwaukee. Patients across America are having life-changing results, and there's no drugs or surgery or downtime. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulders, hips, you got to stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can give you your life back. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
For your new roof, we'll give you the hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty in the industry. You can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
We are persnickety about the materials we use to make you some of the finest mattresses your money can buy. Nothing but the best wool, latex, cotton, and inner springs, period. And the reason we can sell Milwaukee mattresses for hundreds less than premium national mattress brands is that we manufacture them in our own Milwaukee factory and sell them direct to you at our family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture Stores in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee, where no middleman means no extra markup and real savings for you. Can you buy a queen-size mattress at our stores for $4.99? No, but you will find high-quality mattresses available in all of the most popular options, priced hundreds less than premium national mattress brands, because we manufacture them and we're the only ones who sell them. Shop and compare, you'll see we're the best-kept secret in town. Milwaukee mattresses from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee, where no middleman means no extra markup and real savings for you. KenMichaelsFurniture.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Once again, we are broadcasting live from Summerfest 2023. One of our texters said, Jeff, I was shocked in the story. The police lifted a fingerprint in this case. I'm sure that they don't do that in most stolen car cases. That's a very interesting question, whether they do or they don't. In general, and in defense of the police, there's so many cars that get stolen that it's almost just overwhelming, given the number of cars that are taken off the streets. But part of the thing that we need to do, as we've talked about before, is we need to get to a situation where we're just going to say that this isn't acceptable. When did it become okay to steal somebody else's car? And it's, you do wonder. There's also stories that make me wonder whether or not we've just lost the generation. This is off of today's TMJ4. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office arrested several people Tuesday night before last, after deputies conducted a traffic stop with 7 children inside the vehicle. The Sheriff's Office said it was notified a little before 5:30 p.m. that a woman had seen her vehicle stolen in the Grant Park Beach parking lot. All right, so you go down to Grant Park, you park at the beach parking lot, boom, what happens? Your car gets stolen. That really makes you want to go there. She reportedly saw 3 people exit her car and ride off in another vehicle. Deputies secured her vehicle and worked with Cudahy police to conduct a traffic stop on the suspects, a 35-year-old man, a 22-year-old man, and a 32-year-old woman. Apparently what happened is once they find this, there's a bunch of kids that are in the car, and they then start running as well. 7 kids in this incident turned over to a responsible adult. Good luck finding the responsible adult. And 3 adults were arrested and booked on several charges, including possession of a machine gun, possession with intent to distribute cocaine, and other charges. So you're out and about. You got 7 kids in the car. You've got a machine gun. You've got cocaine. You've got all this other stuff. And there's kids in the car. I mean, seriously, what kind of environment are those kids growing up in? And what sort of environment do those kids have? What sort of chance do they have? I have friends who over the years have been juvenile court judges in juvenile court, and that is one of the things they say. They say, look, we understand what you're saying about no accountability, but they say you just would not believe the backgrounds of a lot of these like juvenile delinquents that end up coming into the court system. You would be shocked at the environment that they grew up in, and it's no wonder why they end up hooking up with gangs, why they end up getting in all the trouble that they do, because there's just no parental responsibility at all, which is what this ultimately comes down to. Look, I mean, it's the lessons. I always tell this to young people, and I was saying this yesterday. The lessons for a successful life aren't that hard. I mean, if you want to get a leg up, it's real simple. You stay in school. You don't get pregnant if you're a female. You don't get a female pregnant when you're a teenager if you're a guy. You stay out of gangs. It's not that hard, and you'll have a lot more chances of success. When we come back, after the top of the hour news, I want to talk about Northridge. I want to talk about the high-speed bus line. I want to talk about the HOP. I want to talk about gas stoves. A lot of stuff coming up in the 2 o'clock hour of the program. We're broadcasting from Summerfest. Don't go anywhere.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner.
It's a battle for NL Central bragging rights. Brewers, Cubs, Monday, July 3rd through Thursday, July 6th. Help defend American Family Field during this year's edition of the I-94 rivalry and celebrate the 4th of July at the ballpark, where kids and seniors can score half-price seats, courtesy of WPS Health Insurance. See the schedule and grab your seats today at brewers.com/promotions.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. Would you like your employees to be better leaders, improved critical thinkers, and become more self-aware? LAK Group's coaching services can help. Their coaching has led to impressive, sustainable organizational change, and it's founded on the International Coaching Federation's core principles, aligning individual performance to the needs of your company. Find out how LAK Group's coaching can help you. Visit transformingcareers.com. LAK Group. Discover your human advantage.
Veterans benefits denied? Contact Tayback for the payback. Go to taybackattorneys.com.
The wait is over. Summerfest is here. Come see WTMJ broadcast live during Summerfest inside the Fellow Windows and Doors mobile studio in the Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone. Celebrate Summerfest with us. News Radio WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 2 o'clock, it is 75 degrees, sunny skies and warm today, a high of 83. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. New details in the search for the missing Ocean Gate submarine Titan. The company Ocean Gate saying in a statement that they believe the passengers aboard the submersible have sadly been lost. U.S. Coast Guard officials saying they've found a debris field in the search area, and they are now giving a live update. We will now go live to that update from the Coast Guard on the search.
This morning, an ROV, remote-operated vehicle, from the vessel Horizon Arctic of the Titan submersible, approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic on the seafloor. The ROV subsequently found additional debris. In consultation with experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon this determination, we immediately notified the families. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families. I can only imagine what this has been like for them, and I hope that this discovery provides some solace during this difficult time.
We'll have much more on this story throughout the day. Stay tuned right here to WTMJ. Milwaukee police say they have arrested who they believe to be the sole shooter behind the shooting that erupted shortly after the Juneteenth festivities on Monday. A 15-year-old boy now in custody. He is believed again to be the only shooter. 6 teens were shot in the area of MLK and Chambers. Thousands were still gathered in that area as the city's Juneteenth event ended at 4 p.m., the shooting happening about 20 minutes later. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 2:02.
Superheroes used to be bright and flashy. Now they're all dark and edgy.
They remind me of the Warner bedroom from Penny Mustard.
Mysterious, moody, unhinged.
Literally unhinged. The exposed hinges are a major design in this franchise.
The Warner bedroom is super.
Incredible.
A wonder.
A marvel.
And it's made in America, Captain.
The Warner bedroom collection with queen bed, 8-drawer dresser, mirror, and 1-drawer nightstand starting at $67.09 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Hi, it's Samantha with Heiser. Summer's here, and we have select 2022 Ford vehicles as low as 0.9% APR for 66 months with a Flex Buy. With inventory under MSRP, you'll enjoy good company and great adventures with the perfect vehicle. Stop in or shop online today at HeiserFord.com. At Heiser, today's your day.
Valid on 2022 Explorer and 2022 Edge. Must qualify for financing. Tax title license $399 service fee extra and $630.23.
A wiser way to build your wealth.
A wiser way to build your wealth starts with choosing a financial planning firm that is fee only, because it means they work for you. Fee-only firms like Financial Strategies, Inc. don't work for a bank or brokerage firm or an insurance company or mutual fund company, because we don't want our decisions for your best interest compromised in any way. We work for you, and only in your best interest. And fee-only means the success we care about most is yours. Ask your advisor, are you 100% fee-only for 100% of your clients 100% of the time? If they answer no, get a second opinion. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm. And I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to FinancialStrategiesInc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
Bucks forward Chris Middleton declines the $40.3 million option on his contract. Middleton could return to the Bucks on a multi-year deal for a lesser average annual value. NBA draft night tonight, the Bucks own just one selection, number 58 overall, the final pick in the 2-round event. Former St. John's Northwest Academy standout Brandon Podziemski invited to the green room. He's projected to be a first-round pick. And no game for the Brewers. A 10-game road trip begins tomorrow night in Cleveland against the Guardians. Milwaukee 1.5 games back of the Reds for first place in the NL Central. Greg Matzik, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic, and it looks like the problems on 94 have worked themselves out. It just looks like a little bit of a slowdown coming out of the Stadium interchange if you're headed into downtown on 94, but the real mess is on 43. It's southbound from Brown Day Road to downtown, looking at about an 8-minute delay. Looks like a ton of brake lights between Silver Spring Drive and Capitol Drive. That's really the trouble spot. Everything else, though, is looking good. There's no major slowdowns or delays and no accidents reported.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
The successful Fox and Hounds and Mineshaft restaurants are hiring friendly, people-oriented servers. You'll make real cash, full or part-time, and always busy. Inquire today, start next week.
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny skies and warm today for the beginning of the big gig. A high of 83 at the lake, 87 degrees inland. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low of 62. Tomorrow, sunny skies will continue, a high of 83 at the lake, near 90 degrees inland. Saturday, we will add some increasing clouds. It'll still be warm, but it will be slightly humid. A high of 85 at the lake, 90 degrees inland. Sunday, we'll add a chance of showers and storms. It'll be cloudy, warm, still humid, a high of 82. And on Monday, a chance of showers, mostly cloudy skies, and a high of 75. Right now in Madison, it is 88. In Green Bay, it is 85. In Waukesha, it is 83 degrees. And right here in downtown Milwaukee, it is 76 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore Pooley, Sighting Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 2:07.
From the Pella Windows and Doors mobile studio at the Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone, it's the Jeff Wagner Show, live from Summerfest. Now, here's Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, it is opening day, Summerfest 2023, an absolutely wonderful day, and we are so glad to have you with us. If you're looking for an excuse to play hooky, this is it. Come on down and say hi. Just a lot of people enjoying what is a great weather event, and I tell you, I'm a huge fan of Summerfest. We had Don Smiley on during the 12 o'clock hour of the program. Don, of course, is wrapping up 20 years as the Summerfest CEO, and it is amazing to think about. Just as somebody who's been coming to Summerfest since essentially there was a Summerfest on the lakefront, it's amazing to just look around here and appreciate all the different things that they've done to the grounds, all the improvements that they've made. It's just really incredible. And every year there's something new. Okay, we were talking a little bit about violence, and I want to do one more crime-related topic here. The Juneteenth Festival, which was held on Monday, ended up in... Well, it ended up in, of course, disarray because after the festival ended, you had the situation where you had the 6 people that were shot, and it appears that a 17-year-old boy and a 19-year-old boy or man, pulled out guns and started shooting. The impetus appears to be that there was a fight that had developed between a number of girls in the area. And by the way, the last hour or two of the quote-unquote festival had been marred by street fights, but no shootings. But, people, kids particularly, that end up getting in fights. But at the end, we have the 2 shootings, 6 people shot, and it appears that, you can see if you watch TV, that one of the shootings is done by a 17-year-old who's got a gun in his waistband. So you got a 17-year-old that brings a loaded handgun to this Juneteenth Day festival and then pulls it out and starts shooting. Well, in the aftermath of this, you have a number of the community leaders who have, watched this happen over and over again, and they come out and they say the things they always say. The Journal-Sentinel story said that people like Cavalier Johnson and the police chief, decried the violence in strong terms, urging more involvement from parents and community organizations to help keep young people out of trouble. Well, okay, I don't have a problem with that. But here's what I thought was interesting, according to the local newspaper. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley has already publicly urged Congress to pass this is quotation, pass common sense gun laws that keep weapons out of the hands of irresponsible owners and others who are either a threat to themselves or their surrounding community. He wants Congress to pass common-sense gun laws that keep weapons out of the hands of irresponsible owners and others who are either a threat to themselves or their surrounding community. All right, now I'm trying to think about this incident that happened on Monday. You've got a 17-year-old who brings a loaded handgun to this festival and then pulls it out and starts shooting at people. And I ask this question seriously. All right, explain to me what common sense gun law could we pass that would keep weapons out of the hands of irresponsible owners, and I think you could include this 17-year-old, and others who are either a threat to themselves or their surrounding community? What is it that we could do? Tell me what the next law is that we could pass that would, stop this 17-year-old from bringing this gun to the festival and shooting it. Right? He's not allowed to legally possess the gun under these circumstances. He's not allowed to shoot at people. I presume that he knows this. Explain to me how we stop him. What is the law? Because I'm open to this. Tell me what the law is that we pass that stops these bad people. And yes, I'm sorry if anybody's appalled by this, but a 17-year-old that brings a gun to this event, pulls it out and starts shooting people is a bad person. Explain to me the law that we could pass that would have stopped the 14 or 15 or 16-year-old kid at Mayfair a year and a half ago who's in the Mayfair shopping center, and he's riding down the escalator, and he pulls out the gun and starts shooting. And all I hear is, okay, we need more gun laws. And, look, I'm open to this. I mean, I'm open to holding people accountable, but I don't understand what the gun law is that we're going to be able to pass that's going to keep that 17-year-old from getting the gun that he's not legally allowed to possess in the first place, much pull it out of his waistband and shoot. 855-616-1620. Why don't we start talking about the real issue here, which is when we find people who are committing crimes, big crimes or small crimes, we need to hold them accountable. And we need to get the message out that we're not going to tolerate this stuff. And if you bring a gun to a public facility like this, at an open-air festival or whatever, if you bring a gun like that, if you illegally possess the gun, if you illegally carry the gun, even before you get a chance to use it, you're going to be held accountable. Seems to me that's the common sense gun law, most of which that we have, which if we vigorously enforce them would help keep people safe. 855-616-1620. We discuss in a moment.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner.
Spaceship to Debbie. Come in, Debbie. Traffic is slowing down.
Yeah, Captain, there's an accident 2 miles ahead. Take the next exit for a quicker trip.
Making it through Milwaukee traffic isn't rocket science. Debbie Lazaga is looking out for you on the roads.
Traffic has woken up. We have an accident. We got a little bit of heavier traffic. We got pockets of heavy traffic. Oops, that's going to be tacking on a couple extra minutes there.
Follow her on Facebook and Twitter. Only on WTMJ.
This is WTMJ's Jeff Wagner for the Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Parkinson's disease affects around 1 million people in the U.S. and 15,000 in Wisconsin alone, with symptoms gradually worsening over time. We learned about who is affected, the signs and symptoms, treatment options, and more from Dr. Karen Blindauer, a neurologist with the Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin's Health Network. Listen to that conversation and all our previous everyday health discussions simply by visiting the features drop-down menu at WTMJ.com.
Blain's Farm and Fleet's 4th of July sale is going on now. We're saluting the red, white, and blue with unbeatable deals on everything you need to celebrate outdoors. Like 1-pound bags of Blain's brand trail mix, 2 for $8. Get $50 off a Milwaukee M18 Fuel 2-tool combo kit. Relax indoors with select Perfect Air window air conditioners, $149.99. Rewards members save an extra $5. And Jolly Pets dog toys, 25% off.
Find value at Blain's Farm and Fleet.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Greg Scalzo for Smart Spaces. How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
Really looking at the entire space holistically. The environment, the walls, ceilings, lighting, flooring, furniture, technology, along with acoustics.
To conceptualize how the end users are going to interact with the room, from the furniture all the way down to the AV, having that work seamlessly within the environment and often hiding within the furniture.
Let Smart Spaces transform your business today. Visit smartspaceswi.com.
Experience fast, affordable family fun at Elkhart Lakes Road America. With on-site camping, free parking, and free admission for kids 16 and younger when accompanied with an adult, Road America offers world-class racing and so much more. From sports cars to NASCARs, you can even host your next company picnic or family reunion. Get the full race schedule at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or call 800-365-7223. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
855-616-1620, which is the old National Bank talk and text line. Look, I was struck by the quotation that the Milwaukee County Executive puts out, namely that, and this is in the wake of the June 16th, shootings, saying, okay, well, Congress needs to pass common sense gun laws that keep weapons out of the hands of irresponsible owners and others who are either a threat to themselves or their surrounding communities. Okay, fine. My test and my question is, what exactly are we talking about? Explain this to me. You've got a 17-year-old who shows up with a loaded handgun in his waistband and pulls it out and starts shooting. Explain to me what is the gun law that you want Congress to pass that is going to make a crime like this go away? Because I'm very, very open to it. But it seems to me there's already a lot of these things that are on the books, unless you're talking about, having the government come out and try to confiscate every firearm that there is, in which case, good luck with that. 855-616-1620. Let's start with Steve in Glendale. Steve, you're on WTMJ.
Hi, Jeff. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's just like, increasing drug laws. People are still going to use drugs. And they have to address the penalties here. They have to make the penalties tougher. To try these kids as adults and long term in prison without any chance of parole. That's where they have to start.
Yeah, Steve, thanks for the call. I appreciate you joining us. And I will be curious to see, and I don't know if we're ever going to find out. I know I sound like a broken record on this. Okay, this 17-year-old that shows up with a gun on Juneteenth Day. Okay, my guess is, it's just a guess, my guess is it's not his first time at the rodeo. It might be that Monday is the first day that he wakes up in his life and says, okay, I'm going to the Juneteenth festival. Here, I'm going to find a gun, wherever you find the gun. I'm going to stick it in my waistband, and I'm going to take it to this thing. That might be the first time he'd carried a gun, might be the first time that he was involved in something, but my guess is no. My guess is that there's a lengthy criminal record that's here as a juvenile that we're never going to know anything about. But even if there's not a lengthy criminal record, my guess is there's context. There's stuff that has been going on that leads up to this. And you need some degree of accountability. 855-616-1620. Dan in Greenfield. Dan, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for taking my call. Sure. I agree with the previous caller, and it makes me want to laugh every time I hear this, that we need stricter gun laws. What we need is stricter criminal laws.
Yeah.
And for instance, a felon they do a traffic stop, and they find a felon with a gun in the car. Mandatory 5 to 10 years. There is no plea bargaining, because with our judicial system here in Milwaukee, all I love is bleeding heart, soft on crime, DAs and assistant DAs and judges. And until that changes, nothing's going to work.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Dan. I appreciate it. Look, and this is the problem. I don't know where it starts. Now, I'm a big believer, by the way, if you're a regular listener to this program, and it's out of favor now, but it's the broken windows theory of policing, which essentially says little stuff leads to big stuff. So the idea is let's crack down on the little stuff. If you fix the broken window, it stops bigger problems from developing. If you let the broken window go, well, soon there's going to be other problems. And so that's why I am a big believer in, again, accountability and holding people responsible, because, again, let's go back and let's look at this 17-year-old. My guess is that there is going to be some sort of history that led to this. But to the point of the county executive saying, well, I want Congress to pass common sense gun laws. Well, okay, what could that be? Background checks? Well, he's 17 years old. Okay, he wouldn't pass a background check regardless. Gun show loopholes? I doubt the 17-year-old went to a gun show and purchased the firearm from a non-federal firearms dealer. I doubt that that's the case. My guess is, well, I don't know. He got the gun on the street from one of his low-life hoodlum buddies who got it from a straw buyer or from a theft or whatever. But, really, explain to me what the laws are that you're going to pass. Because candidly, I'm all in favor of that. If you can show me common sense, and that's a key thing, practical, effective laws that we can pass that will hold people accountable, well, I'm all in favor of that. I am. But actually, many of the people who talk about that, well, they don't walk the walk on that. Hunter Biden, and this is kind of off topic, but so Hunter Biden goes and buys a gun. He fills out, he lies on the form. They call it lie and buy. He says he's not a drug user, okay? And so they've decided they're just going to do a pretrial diversion thing on that. And you've got all these liberals who are upset that the prosecution's being criticized for that. Well, okay, you can't have it both ways. If he lied on the form, yes, he should be prosecuted. And if the argument is we don't prosecute people for lying on their forms, my question becomes, why not? What is it? Why do we refuse to hold people accountable? And then when we do that over and over again, why in the world are we surprised when you have a 17-year-old that shows up at a Juneteenth festival, pulls out a gun, and starts randomly shooting? Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner, WTMJ. We are broadcasting.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Did you know just one blood donation can save up to 3 people's lives? Hi, WTMJ Sandy Max here. Please join me and our WTMJ Cares initiative to donate blood to those who need it the most. Join us on June 26th, 27th, and 28th as we partner with the American Red Cross and Gruber Law Offices for a blood drive at the Milwaukee County Zoo. Visit WTMJ.com or text BLOOD to 855-616-1620. You can make a difference with WTMJ Cares and me, Sandy Max.
Randy Miller.
No, you're not. I'm Randy Miller, owner of All Right Home and Remodeling.
I'm DJ.
Someday you might be the owner of All Right.
Like you and Daddy?
You'll have to learn that our family business is about more than just our family.
Do it right, call All Right.
Yes, but doing things right also means giving back.
When you want it all right, you call All Right. All Right, so many miles away.
We see some patients who come in and they have been in just so much pain for so long that they are just deflated.
But that's about to change because QC Kinetics provides hope for relief using all new regenerative treatments that concentrate your body's own healing properties into aching hips, back, shoulders, and knees. And Dr. Zuckerman, a medical director at QC Kinetics, loves watching the patient transformations.
One of the most amazing things is when I get to see a patient who, after a few months of our treatments, is just a completely different person. They are smiling and happy, and the weight of the world is off their shoulders because we were able to take away their pain.
And that's with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
It's just amazing to be able to change people's lives like that. It's very gratifying.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
In Wisconsin, making memories together is for everyone, whatever your ability. So here's to soaking up surf culture right here on Wisconsin's Fresh Coast. To making time for stargazing as a family. And to imaginations cleared for takeoff. Here's to festies with besties. And singing along to your favorite song. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
You're listening to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Broadcasting live from the lakefront. Lots of people coming out, sitting outside our broadcast facility, enjoying what is a wonderful, wonderful summer day. Why are you down at the lakefront, Jeff? Well, it's because this is the first day of Summerfest 2023. If you, by the way, want to see what our mobile broadcast facility looks like, you can simply go to WTMJ.com, click on the live stream, and you can see it's sort of like, in some respects, it's fun to look out at everybody. It's also like working in a bus depot because you've got people running in. We've got engineers. We've got the afternoon news team. We got salespeople. We've got all sorts of people kind of running in and out. So it's one of these interesting things you can watch in the background saying, hey, which personality is that that's walking behind you now and all? So we encourage this type of thing. It's a lot of fun. It's one of our opportunities to get out of the studio and get out and see people. One of my favorite times of the year, along with our State Fair broadcasts, which are coming up in August. Okay. Good news, but the jury is still out. If you will remember, back when they first started the hop, the trolley that doesn't really go anywhere, early on, there were all these people that rode the hop, and the initial reports were, this is a huge success. It's look at the first month, look at the second month. All these people are riding the hop, and all the people who thought that this wasn't going to work out, are you wrong? Well, I mean, here's the deal. First of all, the hop was free. And originally, when it had been sold to the public, we were told that people were going to have to pay for it, and it was going to end up being somewhat self-sufficient. Well, okay, it's never been a pay-for thing, and now we're at the point where they don't even want to charge 50 cents for it because they're concerned that if they charge 50 cents, nobody's going to ride it. But you had these initial numbers when it was new and it was the bright shiny toy, and we would be hearing anecdotal stories, I swear, about how you would have residents in senior communities who are always looking for field trips. They would be brought down to ride the trolley as part of a field trip. So, hey, look, we've got all these numbers. Well, okay, that was great. So the numbers were fine for the first, month or two. And essentially since then, it's been going downhill. And now we're at a point where I think almost everybody agrees that the ridership on the hop is a huge, huge, huge disappointment. And that's one of the reasons why in this new legislation that's been passed, there's no provision. You can't use essentially public money to expand the hop. So that pretty much ends that. So, okay, what is the at least current equivalent of that? You will recall for the last 2 years, there has been this project that cost about $55 million to bring and build the high-speed bus transit line, or the rapid transit line, which will run from the lakefront out to the medical college. It goes along Wisconsin Avenue, and then it goes around Blue Mound, then finishes up on Wisconsin Avenue. It shaves 9 minutes at best. If you were to ride the route the entire way, you would save about 9 minutes. But it's $55 million, and the numbers that are out there say that, again, you've got the same people pretty much who made these predictions about ridership on the hop that turned out to be wrong. Now, you've got a lot of similar sort of people who are saying, hey, if we build this line, it's going to dramatically increase the number of people who ride the bus. So that's what's going to happen. Well, okay, the new numbers are out, and they say the first week that the high-speed bus line was operating, it reported 16,800 rides, which is up from about 10,000 rides that were normally on the bus line. So everybody's taking a victory lap saying, hey, this is great. We've got all these wonderful numbers in here. Isn't this fun? Well, okay, first of all, once again, the bus line is free. So you're not paying to ride it. So it's kind of a curiosity. Hey, let's go ride this. It's not going to cost us anything. And I will tell you again, anecdotally, I know people who are saying, we're going to do this just because it's a fun thing to do and it's not going to cost us any money. Once they start having to pay for it, it's going to be markedly different. Secondly, once the newness, hey, this is the bright, shiny toy, once that fades, I'm going to be curious to see where these numbers go. My guess is the numbers this week, next week, maybe the week after that, maybe for the next few weeks, is going to end up being the high point, and then bus transportation is going to go back to normal. Now, it could be, again, this week, next week, and the week after that, maybe it's a little bit inflated because people will be using it to come down to Summerfest, and I think that's a great use of it. We've got it built. But I'm going to need a little bit more time before I decide whether this is this huge success or whether it's an expensive white elephant, just like the Milwaukee Trolley. WTMJ Breaking News time is 2:30 p.m. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, here's Wyatt Barmore-Pooley.
Thanks, Jeff. We've been following this all afternoon. All 5 people aboard the Titan submersible believed to be dead. Debris discovered in the search area for the missing vessel was consistent with a catastrophic implosion. It is also the U.S. Coast Guard confirming that they believe the wreckage is from the Titan submersible, which has been missing since Sunday when it embarked on a mission to the wreckage of the Titanic. 5 people, including the founder of the company, Ocean Gate, who were on the submarine, are all believed to have perished in that implosion. Milwaukee police say they have arrested who they believe to be the sole shooter behind the shooting that erupted shortly after the Juneteenth festivities concluded this Monday. A 15-year-old boy now in custody, again, believed to be the only shooter in that case. This coming after the festivities concluded around 4 p.m. 16s were shot in the area of Martin Luther King Jr. and Chambers. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. And we've got, we returned to what we were seeing before. Dow down, S&P and NASDAQ up. The Dow is down 58 points. Now the S&P up 4.5 points. And the NASDAQ is up over 0.5%. It is up 79 points. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com. Click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic, and we're still seeing quite a mess on 43 southbound from Brown Deer Road to downtown. It is a 10-minute delay. It'll take you 21 minutes to get from Brown Deer Road to downtown. And again, it looks like the heaviest traffic is between Silver Spring Drive and Capitol, but once you get past Capitol, it is still continuing to be slow as you approach downtown. We're also seeing a little bit of a slowdown as you approach American Family Field and the stadium interchange, that on 94 eastbound, but that's only a tap of the brake lights as you approach the stadium interchange.
Traffic is sponsored by Harwood Place Senior Living. Learn more about Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing options. Visit harwoodplace.org or call to schedule a tour.
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny and warm today, a high of 83 at the lake, 87 degrees inland. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low of 62. Tomorrow, sunny skies continue, a high of 83 at the lake, near 90 degrees inland. Saturday, we'll see some increasing clouds. It'll still be warm, and it will be slightly humid, a high of 85. Sunday, it'll still be cloudy, warm, and humid. We'll add a chance of showers and storms, a high of 82 degrees. And on Monday, chance of showers, mostly cloudy skies, and a high of 75 degrees. Right now in downtown Milwaukee, it is 76 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:32.
I'm Jeff Wagner. Oh, by the way, I stand corrected. Wyatt's newscast points out that while there was a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old carrying guns at Juneteenth, apparently authorities think it was a 15-year-old who did all the shooting. Once again, I raised the question to the county executive, what gun laws would you like to see Congress pass to stop that 15-year-old, who's not allowed to legally carry a gun in the first place, from bringing the gun to the Juneteenth festival and shooting it up? I digress. When we come back, resist, defy, don't comply. What am I talking about? I will explain in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned. Jeff Wagner returns after this on WTMJ.
Hi, it's Samantha with Heiser. Summer's here. Find new roads in the 2023 Chevy Silverado 1500 for only $389 a month when you lease. With inventory on lot and prices never over MSRP, you'll enjoy good company and great adventures with the perfect vehicle. Stop in or shop online today at HeiserChevrolet.com. At Heiser, today's your day.
36-month, 30,000-mile lease. Stock number W13331, 55,345 MSRP, 4584 DAS. Must qualify for financing. Tax title license, $399 service fee extra, and 6/30/23.
Hey, Fleet Farm fans, you asked, we listened. You wanted lower prices? You got them. In-store, online. We drop prices everywhere. Lower prices on summer favorites like Liquid Pool Shock, Griller's Gold Barbecue Pellets, and Airhead Towables. Lower prices on big name pet care like Purina Tidy Cats. Lower prices on Valvoline motor oils. All because you said so. Look for the bright green price drop signs to find new lower prices on everything you need for everyday life. Only at Fleet Farm.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Your pain is likely due to a wear and tear process called osteoarthritis. Now, when you combine that with being a little overweight or not being as active as you'd like to be, you get into a downward pain spiral. At Rejuvenex, we control pain by precisely targeting and treating the areas where your pain lives, like shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, with our powerful FDA-approved treatments that cushion and lubricate the affected areas to deliver long-lasting pain relief. Now, like maintenance on a car, to maintain your relief, our team of physicians will follow up with you roughly every 6 to 18 months. My name is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. Rejuvenex is in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief. Really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
broadcasting live from Summerfest. So glad to have you with us. Here's another one of these examples. Now, there might be more to this story, but still, I kind of shake my head. Milwaukee Bucks all-star player Chris Middleton, he had until last evening, 11 o'clock last night, to accept an offer. He had apparently there was a player option to come back and play for the Bucks next year, and the option, he's 31 years old, it would have paid him $40.4 million. $40.4 million. He elected to exercise that option and test the free agent market. Now, I guess, it's $40 million. And then, of course, then he would have been a free agent next year. Now, it could be this is part of something, larger, that maybe he's getting ready to cut a deal with the Bucks where he signs a long-term deal for, $140 million or something like that, and he's going to take less money than 40, less money up front, so it makes it easier for the Bucks salary cap or things like that. But I'm just imagining, what sort of world do we live in? What it must be like to be one of these superstar athletes who are in a situation where you can say, well, I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm going to walk away from $40 million for 1 year. $40 million. It is a complete and totally different world. All right, speaking of a different world, we had Don Smiley on in the first half hour of the program, and one of the questions that I didn't get around to ask him about was this decision that Summerfest made a couple years ago to go cash free. If you are coming down to Summerfest, I don't think there's any exceptions to this. You have to have a credit card. You have to use the credit card to make your purchases. That is, in almost all situations, that's similar to, for example, what it is at American Family Field as well. There's a lot of reasons for that. I guess part of it is that they say it makes it easier. You don't have to handle cash. It makes it easier to account for purchases. If you're the retailer or you're the seller, one of the other things, quite frankly, is it's tougher to steal. Cash, if there's a bartender or something that's slipping money in their pocket or something like that, it's not going to happen if you've got the credit card. So there's all those different advantages to it. Having said that, I continue to be a what we call a paper money diehard, a PMD, a paper money diehard, because I have credit cards? Yes. I'm not anti-credit cards. I carry credit cards with me. I use credit cards for purchases. But I still have, and I'm reaching into my pocket now, and people who are watching us on our live stream can see this. I've got my little bill clip there, and I've got some paper money. I carry folding money because there are times that I like to use that paper folding money. Maybe it's a situation where I'm going through, I don't go through drive-through restaurants that much anymore, fast food places, but I'm going through the McDonald's drive-through restaurant, and I want to get a cup of coffee, and I want to get an Egg McMuffin or something, and it's $5. And I don't want to charge that $5 to, my credit card. I just want to pay it and be done with it. So yeah, I carry cash for things like that. Maybe it's a situation where I'm in a bar and I'm there with a friend of mine, and we're going to have one drink, and we're not going to run a big tab. And yeah, I'll pull out a $20 bill and I'll put it on the bar and I'll pay cash for it. I still find, and I'm not anti-credit card, but I still find that there's all sorts of places where I use cash. And my cash lasts a lot longer than it used to because I use the credit cards a lot more. But every couple weeks, I will go to the bank and I'll withdraw. I'll use the ATM card, and I'll take out a couple $100, and that will carry me for several weeks. It lasts a lot longer, but I'm not willing to give up my cash because I don't want to have to be forced to put everything on the credit card. There is a movement that is brewing, and in all places, it's really starting in England, where you have a number of paper money diehards, us PMDs, who are simply saying that they're starting to fight back. And they're talking about, hey, these businesses that refuse to take cash, what we want to do is we want to boycott these things. Resist, defy, don't comply. Our number, 855-616-1620. That is the Old National Bank talk and text line. Okay, are you one of these paper money diehards? Again, I'm not anti-credit card, but there are times where I just, especially for small purchases, that I don't want to put a $2.50 charge. If I run into the grocery store because Fran has sent me over because she forgot something when she was doing the shopping, and it's $2.50 for whatever, a can or whatever, I don't want to put that on the charge card. I don't want to worry about it. I just want to pay for it and be done with it. 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Paper money diehards of Wisconsin unite. Do you understand what I'm talking about? We discuss in just a moment.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
What's the way to build your wealth?
While going over a new client's statements from one of the big financial firms, I was floored when I read that firm does not offer tax or estate planning advice. Because we know that saving money for our clients on their taxes, legally and well within the law, can make a huge difference in their financial plan. If you want to wisely build your wealth, it is my firm opinion that without a comprehensive approach, you're going to be at a big disadvantage. At Financial Strategies, Inc., we're taking a deep dive and creating comprehensive strategies that develop your retirement, investment, and your tax and estate planning. And all under a fee-only structure that means the success we care about most is yours. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
There seem to be a lot of mergers and acquisitions in the insurance business. To share some knowledge about the impact, I'm talking with Jeff Salasinski, VP of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance.
Hi, Vince. Have you heard from your insurance agent recently? Did they take time to personally discuss your most recent renewal or the changes impacting your business? It may just be poor service, or it may be because they've been acquired or sold. The insurance market's too dynamic and too complex today to allow the uncertainty associated with mergers and acquisitions to put your business at risk. Being stable during uncertain times is a valuable asset. If 48 years of stability, local family ownership, and deep industry knowledge are important to you, you need to learn more about R&R Insurance.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
As a business insurance top 100 agency, R&R Insurance will be focused on you, the client, and not the progress and payout of an acquisition. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
I just learned Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned. Doubled. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Your home can be more maintenance-free when you rely on J&B.
This is Tom Feza. When I have a roofing question, I contact Scott Klein, owner of J&B Construction, provider of high-quality exterior home improvement products and services since 1958.
Thanks, Tom. Between the two of us, we've seen hundreds of failed roofs, along with the unfortunate consequences of water damage. Poor workmanship, improper product usage, lack of ventilation, inferior flashing detail, and loss of control due to subcontractors are some of the most common reasons for roofs failing. At J&B, our objective is not just to sell another roof. We want to educate our clients. When J&B's experienced sales staff achieves that goal, our roof systems sell themselves.
For a complimentary roof evaluation, call Scott at 262-437-0537 or visit jnbconstruction.com.
Your home can be more maintenance-free when you rely on J&B.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
So one of our listeners says, Jeff, I'm a bartender at Summerfest. I like the credit card payment. It avoids the issue of running out of small bills and having issues with carrying cash on me. When I was bartending at Pride Fest, it was a combination of cash and credit card payments. I had the issue of relying on getting change, so I had smaller bills. I did get more cash tips that helped pay for my trip to Memphis, however. So that's it. Jeff, I'm 29, so I almost use my debit card, sometimes even for $2 purchases, but I'll pull out $100 or $150 from an ATM once or months or so. Usually it's things for birthday cards or to reimburse someone who's from a different generation who doesn't use Cash App or Venmo, or for the rare cash-only shop or bar, etc. 855-616-1620. Oh, by the way, one of the other things is I hate to pay the fees. They're a car a car dealer that I take my car to, one of my cars to be serviced, I mean, they're very upfront about it. They say if you pay by credit card, there's a 3% fee. I ordered I needed a public record from the Milwaukee County Courthouse. So their process is, and I did it. I needed it in a hurry, so I did it through this service. And the service was, okay, if you pay with a credit card, you're going to pay an extra fee. And I'm like, I don't want to have to pay that fee. I just let me use cash, or let me send a check or whatever. Let's start with Bill in Sheboygan. Bill, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Jeff. Happy Summerfest.
Yes, sir.
So I think I'm a lot like you. I put the majority of my purchases on my credit card. I do like to use some cash now and then, but you actually just stole my thunder. That I was going to mention what you just said. I've been noticing it more and more. They want to go cashless, but now you go into a restaurant, and more of them are charging you that surcharge if you use your credit card. So what do? You're stuck.
Well, I guess the alternative is to also use a debit card. A lot of them, in fairness, the car dealer I go to, as I recall, if you use your debit card, they don't charge the fee. But that's, to me, it's really no different than paying the cash if it's coming directly out of there. And I mean, I have it, but yeah, but again, no, thanks for the call, Bill. I appreciate it. No, I'm still with you. I mean, I'm not going to pay an extra fee. Now, I mean, remember when we used to have Clark Howard on the air here? I mean, he always used to talk about guys like me as being like free riders or freeloaders or whatever it was, because I don't ever remember paying a credit card fee other than the annual fee of the card if I have a card that has it because of something else that's with it. Because I mean, I use the card during the month, the bill comes, I pay it. I've never had to pay interest on a credit card in my entire adult life because that's just the way I approach the thing. I don't carry the balances because that can get so incredibly expensive. But I also know the merchants, when I pull out that credit card and I pay particularly for small purchases, they're going to be paying a fee to use it. I don't feel good about doing that. That's one of the reasons I like cash. Valerie in Milwaukee. Valerie, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon. Valerie.
I do not. Hello?
Hi, Valerie.
Can you hear me?
I can. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello.
All right. I am like you. I am not anti-credit card. However, I prefer cash in the sense that I know exactly how much I have to spend, whereas if I'm using a credit card, I can forget that I've already spent so much money and then accidentally charge too much, and then I'm kind of putting myself in a hole I don't want to be in because you forget this is how much you spent, and then it's like, well, if I paid with the cash, I know exactly what I spent and exactly how much more I have to spend, especially at a situation like Summerfest. The only reason why I don't have an issue at AmFam Field is I can put my cash in the machine. They give me that debit card, and I still am limited because I can only use what's on that card, and they don't charge us a fee to do that. So that I don't have an issue with. The credit cards are dangerous, in my opinion, if you're at an event like Summerfest.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, Valerie. I have a friend who substantially younger than me, but she's really started becoming concerned with budgeting issues. And what she's been doing, and this is the way that lots of people recommend that if you're concerned about your spending, is do precisely what you talked about. Take cash and then put that cash in envelopes, for example. So, okay, if I think my budget says I'm going to be going out to dinner this week, and I've got my going out budget for dinner is $100, $50, pick whatever amount you want. You put that cash in there. You get your paycheck, you put that cash in there, and then, okay, when that's gone, that's gone. Whereas if you're using the credit card all the time, it's just easy to say, okay, I meant to limit myself to $100 this week, but now that I see that it's $300. Lamar in Orlando. Lamar, you're on WTMJ. Good afternoon.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for taking my call. Side note, I do miss Summerfest. I've been up there quite a while. But I'm a big cash user for the fee. The reason that you mentioned earlier, the fees, they add up quickly. There's a lot of gas stations that charge you more if you're using, credit or debit versus cash. And then some of these places, there's a minimum purchase if you are using, credit or debit. And then, Jeff, I'll take you one further. I run a small business. I actually tell my customers if they have these ancient things, checks, because as a merchant, I pay a lot of fees that I do pass on to the consumers that adds up quickly. So
yeah, absolutely. I don't know about you, Lamar. Do you write many checks nowadays?
I don't. Yeah. However, I will say that with some like small businesses that I do business with, I do write them checks so that they too can avoid those merchant fees. It's just cheaper.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. You get up from Orlando sometime. Come visit us sometime. Summerfest is wonderful. Look, and I guess the bottom line is I don't think – I understand that it's new generation, and I understand that nowadays there are people that the idea of walking around with any cash at all is just something that they don't understand. They don't get that the idea that we're going to go into Summerfest, we're going to go to Starbucks and we're going to buy our $4 coffee with latte or whatever, and of course you're just going to pull out the credit card and you're going to charge it. I don't want to deal with that sort of stuff. For the little small purchase in my life, I don't want to worry about seeing it on the bill later on. I mean, my credit card is for, some of the bigger purchases and things like that. And I would say that there is, with the exception of gas, there is rarely a charge on my credit card that is less than $50. It's just because I just don't use it for the smaller sort of thing. Now, gas is different because you pull up to the pump, you put the credit card in, and you put, depending on how much gas you're going to put in, that's different. I do that because it's a convenience. But I do think that there remains a role for cash in our society. That's why I'm proud to be a PMD, a paper money diehard. Paper money diehards of Wisconsin, stand up, unite, resist this urge to make us stop paying for things with cash. When we come back, let's find out what John and Sandy and Greg have on their minds for Wisconsin's afternoon news.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Creative Plan.